tomorrow for the last day of the week. Until then, have fun on the closing show. Paka paka.
Hey guys, welcome to the close. Thanks so much, Arun and Prad. What a day it's been. We are moving back towards day lows at the moment, unfortunately. We'll talk about the overall market here because we are pretty red, but I mean, we were up, or we were down, I should say, to start, and then we were up and we're right back down again off of that inflation number this morning and some Fed talk that we'll bring up here in a minute or two. But 1.2 for the S&P right now, full percent for the Dow. 1.5 there for the NASDAQ. Everything else pretty choppy. Bounce back for Bitcoin. Ethereum, the one today, moving to the downside. Here we go. Yeah. If you joined us at 10:45 this morning, this was a lot different. We had a lot more green on the board. Only the materials group in positive territory right now, along with the energy group. Individually, Micron standing out as strong right now over in the semiconductor group. Everything else, though, very red. QCOM, AMD, NXPI, Xilinx there, to name a few, all under pressure this afternoon. Software names are red. Hardware equipment makers, industrial stocks even. It goes on and on and on. Few earnings notes. IPG, OMC, and Lumen down 15% off of earnings. 3.5% there for Netflix as well. So as we said, pretty red afternoon shaping up here. A quick look at how the NASDAQ is shaping up. I feel like, I was wondering if that was going to refresh. SGen to the downside there in the healthcare group. Communication stocks are also under pressure. Consumer discretionary. Airbnb is up 3% today. I didn't see that. Datadog off earnings, having a nice day. There's Micron, as we said. Green. Everything else under pressure. We'll talk about why coming up here in a second. The Fed's Bullard talking about hurrying up on interest rates, essentially. We're up to more than 50% chance that we'll get a 0.5% hike coming up in March. So, yeah, market doesn't like that too much. If you missed it this morning, inflation data for January higher than expected, 7.5% versus 7.3 expected. So not a good number there either. We'll take a minute here and go back and review or look at some opportunities we had at the open this morning. If you joined us at 8:30 this morning, we discussed all of them and got you ready for the open at 9:30. Neil's going to lead the way today with a look at one of his trades.
Thank you, Brendan. Welcome to the trade here. Look, there were a lot of longs at 8:30 that we could have talked about here, but then something happened on Uber, and we have a couple of trades we're going to talk about on Uber today because they had a big halt while they had their investor day, and that's why we wanted to open with this name because it was a bit of a unique situation. Now, they had a pretty mixed report. Some of the profit, a good bulk of the profits from equity sales, definitely had them moving upside here. You can see on a 60-minute, you were essentially breaking out in the aftermarket into a new range. So you're breaking out. You don't have a lot of levels to work off of. There were some signs that it was a relatively weak number overall. So there were some concerns that I had with their profitability. Really, they had a loss if you take away some of their equity gains, although it still was an EPS beat by that measure. You did have a pre-market high right around 43 that got held here at the open. Now keep in mind the context here. You did have that CPI number take the markets to the downside and then come roaring back off of those lows. So what this provided you with was a resistance level off of the top that was established, and knowing we wanted to short, essentially just allowing the market to settle down. Not chasing it, not shorting it at 41, not shorting it here at 41.5, allowing it to get right back to the open level where it failed shy of 42.5 in front of 43. Once we were in, first consolidation was 1-to-1 risk, where usually I'm going to be scalping it, thinking I'm going to get an opportunity to trade in this range. At that time, the market was booming. Never got the re-entry, and then it fell off. Now here's where things got interesting. I had a couple of shorts at this time. Twilio got trailed out. But Uber, when the market tried to bounce again, went sideways. It held below VWAP. I was like, okay, this is looking pretty good. The mistake in Twilio was I didn't hold on to it longer. In the case of Uber, I decided, no, this should either retest the low of the day if it's relatively weak, or I can maintain my stop. If I hadn't scalped anything out, then maybe I'd consider putting a trailing stop in. So we decided we're going to hold it. What happens next is entirely a bit of a fluke, but it did put me to a decision. Uber then halted. Nothing was happening. News pending halt during their investor day. So this entire time, I'm sitting in the short trade looking to see what's going to happen next. Now, obviously, it can go in either direction at this point, and it's completely out of my control. However, the news comes out that Morgan Stanley has decreased their stake in Uber. it ends up gapping down right through my target area. At this point, I'm thinking to myself, once it indicates that it's opening up around that 40, I'm likely to trail it. I didn't have supreme conviction that this was going to cause the stock to tank any further than it did, so I decided to trail it out. Now, once I'm out of the position, I then let it settle down and decide how am I going to trade it post news. Obviously, it was not the right call to get out of my short, but it does give me an opportunity after making a bottom to reevaluate that decision at the same price point that I was observing at the open. And what I did see was when it was trailing around this 40 to 40 and a quarter area, it could not break that quarter. I ended up shorting into that range, reestablishing what was support earlier as the new resistance, and then got into a nice winning short trade. And the lesson learned for me here is, look, you can make that mistake. You can cry over spilt milk that you've missed about $1.50 and thrown away those profits, or you can analyze the price action, decide when it snaps back. Okay, well, I had the short on before. I didn't take it. Do I still like it? Answer yes. Take the position. Now hold on to it once again. And once again, I've scalped some out into first resistance, and I'm holding even into the close here because I have no reason to get out. So basically doing almost the same thing we did before, but allowing things to calm down and then make the decision. So your trade here is going to be Uber. It's a winner, but keep in mind, things could have gone the other way here. As a matter of fact, had it opened above that 43, I was just getting out 100% because that would have violated my stop order. Thankfully, it didn't, and we're able to get 2 trades out of 1.
Yeah, lots of opportunities in Uber. We'll continue the discussion here in a moment. Guys, if you joined us at 8:30 this morning, Uber was on watch, but not because of that. They also reported aftermarket yesterday, so we'll discuss the earnings here coming up a little bit. But if you're looking for the watch list, that is the link. Absolutely free every single morning. The other note that came out during that halt and during the investor day was this. The CFO took the microphone and gave a long-term out to 24 and 25 long-term adjusted forecast that also was a bit of a letdown for everyone apparently. So very, very strange. Uber halting midday during investor day. But yeah, as Neil was mentioning there, this headline was kind of misleading in the sense that it came out initially saying they declare a passive stake of 5.2%. They neglected to, until they updated it, say that that's actually down from where it was prior to that. So big moves here, guys, in Uber. Actually,
I want to say this just because, like, the report saying that it should have been saying that their stake is 5%. You know, unless you're telling the full thing, like just having that headline is incredibly misleading. It's kind of irresponsible. If you don't know the full story, you shouldn't be reporting it. And that's one of the things, to be honest, like, and it's not to toot Brendan's horn, but it is. Like sometimes he'll hold back on saying something until he knows for sure or has absolutely everything. And not everybody did that with that headline. And I think that's one of the things you got to be careful with. We're gonna.
I mean, if you're trading on news on a headline like that, then I'd hope that you would do your own due diligence as well. But I mean, my Uber trade was the same thing, man. We had conviction in the morning, short 42, hit that, no problem, bang, bang. And then this is where we crushed it again on that number. So here comes the release all the way to the downside. We tried a long. This is the funny thing, guys. Like, we tried the long right here. And we tried it, and it was great, 38.20. 38.20 is our long. But it broke back down, and we wind up getting out on that break. But then we get that revenge trade going, and on the pop back up here, we actually shorted 39.80 right there, and then got out at 39.20. So here we lost like 20, 30 cents, not even. And then on that move, we make back that 65. So we take Uber back there. So in short, we had $1.50 off the open short. And then we had this trade here where we in and out there. And then, like I said, everyone was trying to figure out what was going on. Yeah, I had the long, I had all these moves dead. It's just this one went down a little bit too far against us, so we got out. Otherwise, we'd have that up and then that back down. So yeah, look, when halts happen, man, it just gives us more opportunity to get in there and make a little bit of cash. So I like when halts happen, but the Peloton halt was so much better because the news was clear.
Yes,
and I think that was the problem with this one, Brendo.
But I mean, I was going to mention, guys, it's been a long time. I don't even think I can remember a time when a company during an investor day has requested, because this comes from the company, this halt comes from the company, requested to halt the shares ahead of something that ends up being, I mean, yeah, it's news, but it's not that big of a deal.
I'm not sure what to make of it. It's a little bit weird for sure. I've never seen anything like it.
Earnings.
Yeah, but the move overall, I don't think it changed the sentiment. It definitely caused a crazy shock. I mean, when it first halted, the speculation that was coming from people was like, oh my goodness, are they making an acquisition? Like, what's going on here? What's going to go up? And if you looked at what happened in Lyft, a lot of the reason why I think people were saying some of that was if you looked at Lyft. Oh goodness, I typed NY first. If you looked at Lyft actually ran $1 first. And then after it moved $1, at this point, like went up to the upside. This is all during the halt. Like it kind of went up here. And once it started falling, it was obvious based on the price action. It didn't just go back to where it was when Uber halted. It actually fell significantly below. And at that point, it was pretty obvious that Uber was going to be going down. And it's not to say that you could have hedged yourself by taking a position in Lyft. Ultimately, it turns out that you could have. But that's the kind of thing that can be in your toolbox. Let's just say you imagine yourself in a large position. You get really freaked out. In this case, it indicated it was going down. But let's say I was long and I was starting to freak out. Well, when Lyft did this, in theory, you could have just shorted before Uber reopened and then be sitting in a short position. Again, it's not like necessarily a perfect one-to-one correlation. It'd be difficult to make sure that you get the right share size, that kind of thing. But you definitely had that option available. A lot of times there's something you can do in the middle of a halt. Sometimes it's an individual name that has warrants that might be open, depending on liquidity. In this case, Lyft was giving an indication the whole time of what was about to happen in Uber. And the charts are very similar here. Lyft reported the day before, both down about the same amount here today. But that was a proxy. Like, you could have actually been trading Uber, and then when the news was disseminated, actually made a profit shorting it before Uber even opened up.
Yeah, we're just trying to not make a mess of certain positions here. As we're on Microsoft, Facebook, and PayPal right now. Yeah, Uber, I mean, look, we talked about that. I think that was a great trade. I'm really happy with the way I performed on that one today. But right now, Microsoft coming back in right here. We've got in and out here, but we did lose. So we when we first came on, we took out this 303, and then we got out at 302.50, and now we're back into another trade. So it's basically the same trade, but we already did take a 50-cent hit there on some. Now we're back long here, 41, so we're flat on this trade. And I'm just playing off this bottom here of 301.50. So we'll see if it can hold that. But I have identified it early. And I actually remember when I left the 11 o'clock show, which was right here, I was like, Microsoft is weak today, so watch out for it. And of course, now it fades out, and I'm stuck long. So there's that trade as well. And then we're going to go long off PayPal down here. PayPal was absolutely destroyed for me today. It's one of my top stocks. Conviction, bang, up to the upside. So now we'll try it one more time off of a 120 bottom. But for this one, I'm giving this one all the way back down to its all-time low. And it's not its all-time low, but its most recent low here of 118.50 or so. So let's see if the market does want to crack down. We didn't get a good CPI number, that's for sure. And the NASDAQ has just got hammered on that Bullard talk right there. Maybe we'll get into that. But you can see a nice move down here. And yeah, about to take out the bottom. So we won't be in these names for very long. I thought that maybe we could climb back to the 50 period, but it seems like we're going to stay underneath this. So I'm going to, I think, exit all these trades, even just now. I mean, they're against me now. I might as well let them flow down, but I don't think we can catch longs anymore, guys. We are well below the 50 period here on the NASDAQ, and it doesn't look like it's even thinking about coming back up. It tried it here, and that's what we were thinking about, but right now it's all the way back down to the downside here.
Yeah, the market itself making big moves here. We'll get into the futures a little bit. I want to talk about this first. A couple of interesting notes anyways this afternoon, guys. We're supposed to get more details on a $5 billion over 5-year Biden administration plan for EV stocks. So ChargePoint, Blink, EVgo, some of the charging stocks having a nice day on that. There was also this. Took a while to come up with this today, but yeah, DD Global upping their percent in, I guess they bought the dip in DD, Tencent bought the dip in DD, going from 6.4% to 7.4% in DD Global. So we were wondering why that was so incredibly strong. Let's talk about Affirm. I mean, Disney was on the board there, but wasn't really much to see. It was a good report. They kind of faded off all day long. Affirm, however, somebody fat-fingered a tweet, and earnings are kind of out, I guess, guys.
So you've probably heard me say, if you have an order in front of resistance, or a key price area that you want to trade off of, once it moves too far away from that price, you should cancel the order, because if you get filled, you do not want the fill if it moves that quickly. So this was a firm failing at $80, just maybe like 12:30 or so. Everything's rolling on. Its market was at the high. You see it roll over. And about at this point, I'm thinking, okay, well, if it bounces back up, I'm going to short it off of the high of the day. It goes all the way down to 75. I don't cancel, like I said, don't cancel orders. And then it shoots up because someone fat-fingered that tweet, the early release of the earnings. Next thing I know, I am in position, and I'm having to make a decision at 82, which I'm actually thinking at this point, it's like, this is actually a short that I do want, but I'm in the original short that I didn't want at like $1.50 to $2. So it's like, do I hold this to the other level? Do I get in as I would if I was flat? I decide for the latter, end up making the top wick, see it drop down $2. I then try to get back in off of the same level on momentum, ended up getting in and out flat, thinking, what am I doing? The actual high was a little bit, if I go back here, when it made the second move, I was looking at the daily chart, I'm like, no, I should be waiting for 84, 85 for that kind of a play, and then got in and out flat. And the key thing here is, there's not really any reason to believe to believe that anything they're saying is untrue. I feel like the reason why it's fading back in as we look at it right now is, the NASDAQ's retracing to the lows at 2%. So yes, they might have released positive growth numbers, but Twilio also released positive growth numbers for a company that's not making money, those high valuations, and see what's happening to them. And talked about in the midday show about the reasons why I should have done better in this trade. Maybe we'll go over it again, but if you watched, I discussed it with Arun, and it was not. I don't think it was a good trail out. You see Twilio now in those lows, but this is the reason why Affirm, despite them releasing what looks like good growth numbers, you're getting punished because the market is getting punished, and you don't make money yet. This is the environment we're in. And Bullard said some things that.
They also didn't release their quarter. They just said.
No, they just gave, exactly. They gave you a snapshot. What's there is positive. There's no reason to disbelieve any of it. But like I said, they're not actually, not turning profits that you can turn to. And I think had they said that, maybe there'd be a different thing. And then on top of it, I personally don't think that what Bullard said is kind of a good thing for the Fed. Shocking the market is not really a good idea. And coming out and saying that, hey, we should explore being able to raising rates in between meetings. Well, that's the kind of thing you massage into your thinking 6 months ago. Dropping that little tidbit on the same day we just had that CPI number come out might shock the markets a bit, which a lot of times is not what you're looking to do. They're always towing that line, but either way, that's what's going on to the market right now. That's why we're down 2%. The reversals that we saw on some of these names wouldn't be happening if it wasn't for the Fed. We bounced off the CPI number.
It was going fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's the market right here. We're back up to 50. We were at 15,000 when that got released. Right now, you're at 14.7. So here's the release, and you can see the spike. It was basically followed by four actually big candles before we get one green and then two more red, and then it just accelerated back to the 50 period, and then it just kept on, making worse and worse and worse moves down to the bottom. So there we go. Right now, the NASDAQ going to the downside. We are testing out the waters with Softy and PayPal. Our Facebook got dumped off. Our Softy's almost out right now as well. If we take out this 301.50, which is the bottom right there, then we're going to get out, and we're very, very close to that. Our average price now 98 on that one. But again, bad. So many names were cruising to the upside, right? And then all of a sudden, boom. We could check out DraftKings right now, maybe, is another one. I said earlier today, I was like, what? DraftKings at $24. And then, right to the downside. So some of these high growth names, obviously, they don't like that kind of terminology, as Neil was just saying there. You don't need to be increasing interest rates kind of out of the blue when this kind of stuff happens. So watch out here. As there goes Softy, it just goes back into the money. So watch out for this one as it's starting to pop a little bit on some NASDAQ moves.
So here is the CME Group's Fed Funds tool now saying, guys, before we came back on, this was about 55 or 60%. Now 96.7 for half 0.5% hike coming up in March. I can show you May as well, just quickly if this will load. This website is very busy. 78.4% for 0.75% coming up in May. So yeah, it's changing almost by the minute here after those comments from Bullard this afternoon. Let's go on to the chip stocks, because outside of Micron, as we saw on the board when we came on there at 2 o'clock, I can show you Micron right now, 4% here. We're back to support, decent area for MU, back below 92 though. The rest of this group struggling today. I mean, this has been 1, 2, 3 days in a row straight to the upside for Micron, but finally a bit of a stall out here in this rally.
Well, I mean, you look at that chart, Micron's holding up, as you just showed there, it's holding up really well. Like AMD, I'll go to the 15-minute because, you know, yesterday's action, you guys might remember AMD 128 booms to 133 this morning. I only liked, you know, I had a lot of things that I liked to the short side when the market came out that CPI number and had to wait for the trades. But when it came to AMD, it was the only thing I liked at that 128. It bounced nicely, and it was looking like it was going to be okay. Like we were holding some support back down 130, and then, you know, obviously things changed. We're now breaking through lows. I retested it at 120, you know, just under that 128 off of some of those morning lows. It didn't work out, and now we're breaking fresh lows. We're about to take out 127. So, yeah, I mean, it's a harsh reversal. You could pull up any name you want. I looked at Marvel, it was the same thing. And Micron just happens to be, you know, holding up relatively well, but even Micron, like it's broken VWAP, and it's about to test, like not just, it's about to test 9150, which is major support, but that was the morning support area on the pullback. So yeah, it's starting to give it back, still up that 5%, but if it gets through that bottom, like it's not a gap fill necessarily, but you know, it's going through pre-market levels at that point, and the breakout at the open, I don't think it, I mean, if Micron comes all the way back to 88, I would be a little bit shocked today, but it kind of shows you like how quickly the Fed and their actions can influence the markets in this particular case. And this is something that's going to be new for this year. We're not accustomed to this in the last couple of years. It's just not the way it was in the environment that we had for the 2 years of COVID. And now this is what we get. We're about to break the low of the day. I'm not taking a Micron short. I mean, I'm probably with you. Sean, I'm looking at 300 on Microsoft as a level defense, because I've got an Uber short, I got a small cap short, and I can hang on to those in the money. But finding shorts at the low of the day, I'm not really seeing any. And then saying, okay, well, Micron could break this level for you. Yeah, but then I'm giving it $1, and then I'm still shorting when the futures are at the low of the day in probably the strongest stock in the space. So I don't really love that setup at all. I wish I had found my way into more reasonable Affirm trade, because risk off going into earnings, the market coming down there. But it was so crazy at that top, and I completely bungled it by having that order out in the first place. But that was probably the one shot. Like, to be honest with you, Affirm was probably the one real chance to have a relatively good short off the top as this market's coming down. But it all got screwed up by the fact that I got in at a ridiculous price and then was sort of managing it on the fly and managed to bungle it. Because when it did settle down, and it has settled down, it's like, okay, that's right, growth stocks are going down, and you could have just held a short in Affirm. Yeah,
I like that word, bungled. Okay, here we go. So
word.
Let's not try to bungle up. I like that word. I mean, it's Neil's word, so I'll leave it with him. There it goes. So Microsoft right now, we are long 301.80. And in, Neil's terminology there, we don't want to bungle this any more than we have. So let's try to get out a little bit now on Softy. We've gotten out as it's retraced back up a little bit. So I'll take one more piece, and then we'll let the rest come on. Did we just get that? Yes, we did. So there it is. We just got that at 45 there. So now we'll see if it can go up to the rest of the way here. So Microsoft making everything back that we thought we lost initially, but we didn't. So now it's going back up to the upside. A good trade there for us on Softy. And again, look, it's nice when they work. Like, let's not pretend like, oh my God, like we picked these bottoms. It's just, this is how I trade. And it's like, I'm going to give things room so that when I lose, obviously, it's not a great experience because it comes down. I think you heard Arun talk about that on some of his trades as well today, right? Like, it's easy to say, oh, I have a $30 winner on Bill or something. When it works, it's great. But sometimes you gotta like, as long as you back test your stuff and it's like on my losers, I'm taking like on that bill, maybe a $10 hit, let's just say. I don't know, and this is maybe a bad example, but on the upside, you're taking a $30 winner, right? So 3-to-1, like you wanna work on ratios like that, and that's just one of those things. So here now, we'll try to let Microsoft go, but as I was saying, if my bottom's gonna be 301.50 there, and I'm long at 80, then we're already in the money. So that's 30, 40 cents worth of risk based on slippage. We're now in the money 80 cents. So 30 cents, 40 cents downside. Now we're in the money 80 cents. So that's why when this started to spike up, we started taking some out because that was giving us that 1-to-1 win, allowing us to reload if it came back down. So a lot of words there, but that's kind of like what I'm trying to do. Get out, scalp it. And then that's why, Neil, to be honest with you, and this is the problem, and I know you talked about Arun with this too, it's like if you keep getting out every time, then when it rips up, you're not gonna have as many shares. Like, for example, if I had 50 shares down here and I'm out, well, now I only have 20 shares, or whatever your math is, it's like, So when it goes that dollar, you see my frustrations because I don't have the big piece on.
And here's just, I'm going to show a chart of the NASDAQ, right? And we've all been through this. I did the same thing. We'll probably talk about it 2 or 3 times in the show today.
Yeah.
Like if this ends up being a double bottom in the NASDAQ, with 14.7, you see us bouncing off it right now. Like, do we really going into the afternoon, going into power hour, something like Microsoft, like, can you see it coming back to 305? Like, why not? Like, this is a double bottom. Why would the futures not have the ability to bounce 100 points off there? And if they do, some of these can really start to go. But psychologically, like you see the P&L. And
that's the problem. Like right now, I'm thinking about taking it out. I'm $1 in the money.
We had this. Okay, we did a video, and I don't remember when we did this. This is maybe a year ago, or maybe even longer than that. But it was something along the lines of, what are your hacks to hold on to trades longer, or something like that? And one of the things was, it was actually your point, Sean. Was to what it was.
Great.
It was
not following my own.
No. It was to hide.
The P&L.
Hide the P&L.
Yeah, that's Greg.
On your individual thing.
I learned that from Greg. Yeah.
Well, either way, so that you're not even looking at it.
Yeah.
You're only ever, and this is one of the reasons we think it's irrelevant to talk about a show P&L, because truth be told, it's about the decisions you make, it's about the entries and the exits, and the risk to reward, and thinking about P&L actually gets in the way of proper decision making, right? Like I will tell you that Twilio, P&L-wise, ends up being the best stock of mine, and it's one of the worst decisions I made today. And I know it's next on the list, but it was one of the worst decisions I made today, and I spent 10 minutes talking about this with Arun. It has nothing to do with the P&L, it's everything to do with the decision. And my trail-out decision was not a good decision. So we have to deal with that, as opposed to just saying, well, I'm up on the stock, so who cares?
Yeah.
Right? Like it can't always be about that. Otherwise, you're never going to actually get better.
I like that, but to me, perfect point. It's not even about the P&L. It's just, I feel like we've seen so much in our 20 years each of trading that it's like, I've seen a stock go in the money $2 or $3 and then crash right back down. So obviously in the back of my mind, P&L plays a major factor. I mean, that is 100% right, but part of it, I just think it's like a little bit of shell shock sometimes, and especially in these markets. It's like I had a $10 winner just the other day on Facebook, yet today I'm $1 out of there, I'm 50 cents out of the money, and I drop it, right? So, but there it is. We'll take another piece out there. What's up, Ms. V? Right there. She's back on Tuesday, day after Valentine's Day. So we will see here right now. Yeah, so you guys keep your flowers for the 15th. She won't be here on said 14th. But there it is. So we take it out. And again, so this is part of my problem. It's not part of my problem. I mean, it's just I use more shares to address this problem so that you scalp out. And I think Mike, shout out to Mike on the chat here. And I did give you credit for that because you're 100% right. And when you have an out, it makes trades less stressful, because you're already set. I mean, ding, that's exactly right. So we'll give a money flying out of here for you, Mike. And no, you cannot have my Wall Street Bull. I saw that PM on Twitter, and I did answer you. But okay, so it's just, the other thing too is like, when you have your out, obviously Neil and I sitting here trading every day, and I just said this to Tony in the back, because he asked me, we were just talking about our net and stuff like that and blah, blah, blah. And I said, sometimes it's super hard to sit here and trade and be focused on maybe the 1 or 2 names that most of you are focused on, because we're hitting the chat and trying to talk about as many as possible. On that note, we've completely ignored this rundown that we thought was a great idea, and I think it is a great idea. But but we have to stick. And this is the problem: we don't have a producer. It's just like they let us ramble on, Neil.
There's nobody
which is
telling us
happening
to
right
shut up.
now. Oh, and by the way, see, here we go again. By the way, I've made a bet. And on the James Harden trade, so I've bet that the 76ers win the East, and I put a hunch on this with our producer, and I said you could take any other team in the East, and he took the Bucks. So right now it's Bucks versus Sixers. You can get in on this too if you want another team. But right now you can take the Bucks too if you want.
No, I'm not. Nah, I don't know.
So I'm going the East. So if you want, no pressure, you do whatever you want. I took the Sixers versus any other team in the East, and the Sixers right now are in 5th place.
My only point was I don't think
I
don't think it's as bad for the Nets as some people might think. Because my entire thesis is if a player like Ben Simmons,
I think it's great for the Nets.
If Simmons is going to work, then this is exactly the situation I would expect it to work in.
Yep.
If it's going to work, and this well, before we go back to Brendan a second, this what is it called again? American Rebel Holdings, which was a short all day long, just made a break, a little bit of a volume spike there, breaking through 310. I was shorting out those levels and scalping, and then someone kept buying it at 295 over and over again. So I did just stop out at 310. I would revisit this at about 330 or so. That was the halt. That's a breakout support level and then resistance there. But until it gets to 330, we're just going to sit in Uber. As that one just went crazy a little bit.
All right, bang, right here, because we just take another piece out on PayPal. That's why we do that backflip. It takes out the 50 period. There it is, in here, in there, average price of 120.50. We take it out, well, now we have a better price, 120.30, but the average price, we took a 120.90, and then we took a 120.30, giving us an average price, I think it was 45, something like that. It doesn't matter, there's the out right now, 76, so it takes out the 50 period, and again, this is what we're talking about. I have the plan, Mike, I have the plan, guys, and that was get a piece. This is why we went long here. We started the show talking about this trade. I mean, PayPal today destroyed. We're really happy. Oh, Canada, here as we go. But I was going to say about the blockade. It was funny because we went outside there. We do have the trucker blockade here. There's a lot of horses out there right now. That's what I noticed. I told Neil, he went out and looked,
horses,
but you didn't see any. Yeah, horses.
Yeah.
Clydesdales.
Mounted, yeah.
I don't know. They're awesome to see. Like, I love equestrian. Like, the size of these horses, man.
They're impressive.
Like, they're huge. So anyway.
My sister-in-law actually did a
equestrian? Yeah. So this is not, again, I don't want to get bombarded about this trucker thing here. All I'm saying is that we're near Queen's Park, which is where it's at. So driving in today, Brendan and I, you take the TTC, which is all good. But Brendan and I drove in and we had to use our Google Maps, I guess. I was trying to think we'd trying to be smart about it, but Google Maps just tells you where to go. But we had to work around our location. So if you are in downtown Toronto, just be safe, and there could be some protests here tonight. But okay, so that's that.
Apparently, we're supposed to talk about Datadog and Twilio.
You did talk a little bit about Twilio.
I did.
Brendan, opinions there? What?
I was just going to mention on that closure, guys. It's worth mentioning. Shout out to the police officers out here that are doing very hard work. The very nice police officer that let me into the building today was very much tired. He looked like he had been there all night long when I got here at 6:30 this morning. So shout out to them. Good job for all those guys. Trivago first. Well, yeah, let's talk about Datadog here. But Trivago randomly up 11.6% here off of earnings, guys. They actually reported a couple of days ago, but huge move on a few upgrades here for TRVG. That one moving around here this afternoon, but let's make more, or maybe not make more bad decisions, Neil, but let's talk about some bad decisions, I guess, on Datadog and Twilio.
Bad decisions?
No, I'm not going to make more. Well, I mean, the idea is not to make more bad decisions. But so Twilio, they did have a strong report. Remember, Twilio they're not profitable yet, right? But they still had strong growth. And that's what you're going to want to have in this environment if you're not turning profits. Now, obviously, it had been beaten up, cut by more than in half. It was in the midst of already a breakout on the daily chart, which, I mean, is no longer breaking out. And that's what you saw this morning. You were breaking this 215 area, the previous high, and heading into the upside. And then it basically showed you as it pulled back all morning. And then you hit 830, obviously, and then you had a further drop down in this name. and then it found support. So it found support at about 228 here, and this is after CPI knocking everything down. So it finds support, and it finds the top end of the range. So you guys know the pop and fade trade. In this particular case, I was looking pop and fade in a few other names. So in this case, I actually wanted to see, could it break out and hold above, and then you could maybe get a long out in front of that 34 area, and maybe you continue up into 40s and 50s. That doesn't happen, so I'm not short off of this level because I wasn't looking for that trade. I was looking for it to hold above and try to go long. So once it's fallen down here to 215, incidentally, where I thought there would be support and I don't go long, I then have to wait all day, well, not all day, all morning, for it to come back and then get a short off the high. Now here's the problem. I get into the short, I'm thinking to myself, okay, you're giving it about 1-to-1 above that opening range top, and then that's what we do. I take the profit. From that point, from there, it then proceeds to break 225. So then it's about like 7 in the money, and I'm thinking low of the days down here. I think there's an extra $4 or $5 in this trade if I hold on to it, even just to the lows, and it doesn't break any further. But I'm thinking lock in profit, lock in profit. If it breaks the consolidation here, the market retests those highs. Because remember, the context of the morning was we had just bounced off the lows after the CPI number. And we'd come to the downside, we'd burst off the lows, a lot of stocks were mooning. So I happened to get something which is rolling over. But if the futures broke back out, I'm thinking, oh, I don't want to give all this profit back. So rather than just say, hey, you've already taken profit, you've already done this.
Shit.
Why wouldn't you just keep your regular stop in? It wouldn't be a losing trade. It wouldn't give everything back. It would give a good portion if I give it all the way. And so I put the trail in. You see it trail out. Now. I don't get back in, and then you see what happens to Twilio. Now it's bouncing off 207, which incidentally on the daily chart was that other level that we just showed you, possibly trying to make another break in Twilio. And Affirm, by the way, is also making some power moves here. It's almost back to the high of the day. So maybe I will make another bad decision.
Oh my God.
Money, 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 money.
Let's go. Right now, Microsoft, $1.50 in the money, $1.50 right now for Softy. Let's go, Softy, all the way to the upside right here. So, yeah, bad decisions not being made by your boy right now. But the only bad decision was maybe getting out too early. But we talked about solving that problem, and I don't know how, so we will figure that out at some point. But PayPal, again, that one, this is disappointing. In this NASDAQ move, NASDAQ takes out the 50 period, stops barcoding, goes up. PayPal, still barcoding, so not a good sign here. I know there's some people in the chat that are long PayPal with me or in their own account or whatever. Remember, Neil and I, if you're joining for the first time, thank you for joining. Hit the like button, hit the share button, do all of that if you can, and if not, that's fine. But look, PayPal right now, barcoding and not doing a whole hell of a lot, so this is a little bit of a bothersome to me. And what I was getting at was Neil and I are flat at the end of every single day, so any positions that you see us in are clapped out at 4, and that's that. And then we start tomorrow with brand new. This is a prop floor. It's Day Trade the World. You can check them out online, DTTW.com, and we'll go from there. Oh, look, I have my little, what do you call that there? A shield antivirus up here. My computer was a fun experiment all day, but it looks like it is working well right now. So on that note, we'll watch Microsoft go up. We'll see if the futures can hold this and go back to Brendan.
One of the most anticipated numbers out this morning in the pre-market, CPI for January. We've been waiting for this number. It comes out and it's a miss. 7.5% year over year for January versus 7.3. Markets don't like that. That aside, we're going to give you some ideas in this video, guys, on how we can trade anticipated economic releases because they come, it seems like, weekly these days, guys.
Well, in this environment, certainly we're going to have, inflation numbers are going to be big. We got CPI today. Some of the jobs reports will be interesting as well, certainly. That's just how it's going to be because they can signal Fed action. So the question you have to ask yourself is, if you're trying to trade the actual release, just remember when the number comes out, the algos are hitting it so fast. Like that, actually making the trade, trying to get the direction, it's all well and good in theory, and everybody wants to be able to capture a move like that in the NASDAQ. You see that morning, but you're probably missing a good portion of it if you try to hit it. So the question becomes, what do you do after? If you're looking at the overall futures, you can always look back to what is previous support, and that liquidity vacuum comes back in at a key level. Where can you maybe pick up a reversal? I tend to think, in the approach that I was looking at today, was to just have, to have your levels mapped out ahead of time on key individual names that you know are likely to move on that. In this case, growth, semiconductors, AMD was one that I was looking at. And then say to yourself, unless you get a turn, unless you get to trade off of the exact price that you're looking for, then you don't have to make the trade. In this case, I wish I had more that I had liked, but AMD had thankfully put in a gigantic trading range the last 2 days between a previous key resistance level around this 128, breaking out yesterday, making a fresh high, then failing on that high in the pre-market on the number, so that when it came down, all I had to do was know that I wanted long off that price. And then just to add to the execution on the trade, when it came to 128, it broke 128, made a bottom right here about 30 cents lower, went to the upside, even made another test at the bottom, put in a higher low, and then I didn't even get in until it retook 128. So it broke the level once, went a small amount, came back, rejected the move back up, and then held a higher low. So some price acceptance in that area. I'm like, okay, it's not cratering through there, it's trying to stabilize. Now we'll go into the long trade. And you had to wait this out, because at 8:30, this number, it took until 9:09, it was 39 minutes later, when it finally made that bottom. And from there, you retrace the entire move. But the key was I knew that level going into it in advance, trying to pick up the short, unless you already had that stop in and that was your idea. Always tricky to do, but sometimes if you're patient enough, you can always just go the other way.
Yep, and that's, pretty much exactly what I was going to talk about, is just preparation. And I think that you guys know us well enough that that's something that you have to look out for every single day. And part of the preparation is honestly just understand, and I have DraftKings up here, and I think you got to understand what your portfolio is. So forget about day trading or anything like that. And I know we're a day trading show, and that's what we're talking about. But if we just take it back to a little bit of a larger look, like DraftKings, they're not going to do well, if inflation's running crazy, and we know what that means for the Fed and for interest rates, and Neil just talked about this. So here it is, you don't want to be in a position when it comes out, because you don't know what's going to happen. Look at DraftKings. Here's 23.65. It drops all the way down to basically $1, 22.50. $1's a decent spot there before the market opens, and then it starts going back to the upside. But if you panicked, so forget about key levels, forget about anything like that. I can show you on here a Palantir or any of these high-fly names, a TDOC, anything ARK. We could even call up, let's just do the ARK quickly here, ETF here. So look at the ARK ETF, and that was a 20-minute chart. So look at this. Here we go on ARK. Same thing, right? I didn't prep this. I just knew this was going to happen, right? ARK down. Look, if you're in this name, why be in it if the CPI number's coming out? Sure, if it's better, maybe it rips, but we all knew that we're expecting inflation to hit. So look at ARK, $77 all the way down to $73. $4 there on 70, something you didn't need to lose. And now if you didn't get out, you didn't lose it. But why not wait for it to bounce? If you like ARK, wait for it to make a bottom. You know the number's coming out. And then look, right there, just as the market opens up, it goes right back to flat. So my point is, not only understand key levels if you're going to scalp and make some intraday trades on it, but you may want to look at even your long-term holdings and be able to rework a couple bucks here on a couple of these names just as it comes out, get out, and then even reload lower and take advantage of that. It's a slippery slope, but hey, that's one strategy.
Have a plan, and have a plan if you didn't already have a plan. We say it a few times around here, but that is the biggest part of being prepared, guys. Make sure you have a plan. Let's continue along. There's a few things to discuss as we head towards the final hour of the day here. I was just having a look at Uber once again. There was a little bit of volume that came back into Uber, guys. It's worth noting as well, Lyft, also with a huge move off of that Uber halt today, but it comes all the way back and then some for Lyft. So still a few opportunities maybe.
Yeah, okay, so I'm still sitting in Uber, and like I said, scalps them out. This time I'm actually going to give it all the way back. I'm in at 40, it needs to break that resistance level. We already talked about it, but Lyft is showing some signs of it's trying to break back out here. This is 43 even. I know even dollar numbers is sort of lazy thinking, but hey, at 1240, this turned around at 43. Right now we're testing 43 even again.
I have to interrupt.
What's up?
We have a very, very important thing here. Andre, no, it's good for all of us. Greetings. He's at Day Trade the Office in Germany.
No way.
Yep.
Awesome.
The key is next barbecue is on him. So hey, bro, you know you're not going to mention the word barbecue in front of Neil and I.
Don't stand.
You got to get that cornbread. I mean, I don't know what's going down in Germany. I'll take some Oktoberfest
You know how
sausage.
I feel. You already know what I'm going to say. So.
I'm down with all of that stuff. Okay, but you know you got to keep it real, man. You got to. I mean, for me, baked beans. I don't know if that's hot in Germany.
You have to have.
You got to get the cornbread. Yeah, we said that.
did. We had our high school buddies got together.
Some brisket.
And we ordered from really good barbecue.
Yeah, we tried.
They're fantastic, but they didn't have cornbread.
I know, and that was my bad because it was my suggestion because we were in the West End. That's my place.
Are you legitimately an awesome? You can't be up here.
I'm very
with your
surprised. I'm going to look
unless
at their
you have a
menu
good
again
cornbread.
because
and it was delicious. The brisket was amazing. Don't get me wrong, I was loving it. I've been down to in Deep Ellum. I had probably one of the best trough I've ever eaten in my entire life. They had cornbread, by the way.
Yeah.
And it's just in Texas. Yeah, Deep Ellum's in Texas. I mean, most of you guys are American. I feel maybe some people would know that. But anyways, yeah, barbecue's my joint, man. So thank you very much. Okay, open-minded mafia. I see you. Collard greens. That's right.
I'm down.
Got to.
down.
Our buddy, who actually the guy who lives in Texas, when I was visiting, he makes the most amazing collard greens. It's like if he wasn't.
What doesn't he make that's amazing?
If he wasn't a surgeon, he would have a Michelin star restaurant. He's that good.
I mean, you see the fresh pasta that guy's throwing down?
It's ridiculous. Nobody should be that talented.
He's an Italian-Indian guy.
Yeah, but nobody should be that talented.
But he acts like he's Italian with that.
His fantasy football team, that's a different story, but nobody's perfect, right? So.
Yeah, that dude's far from perfect, but we love that dude. So shout out to everybody doing barbecue. But anyways, I had to interrupt. Go ahead on Lyft.
Now people talk callaloo better than collard greens. Yes, okay, I get it. I love all that stuff. Lyft 43.
I just saw something else that we didn't talk about. Burnt ends? Come on. I'll only have burnt ends.
You guys are killing me now.
You guys are, no, but I brought this on ourselves because I could have easily
I'm literally
ignored that
my mouth is
chat.
watering right now.
Barbecue equals Labatt's. Okay, not Labatt's Blue. I hope you're not talking about. Not a preferred beer.
We can do better than Labatt's Blue when we're having barbecue.
Yeah, we can do Bud. All right. What's up, Brendo?
We're trying. There we go. I'm trying a new headpiece, but it's a little weird. Yeah, it's a little weird. It's like a wired one, but it's very. It's very awkward, and the audio is not that great. So it remains to be seen whether or not this is going to continue. I don't know, guys. I'll get back to you.
Look, we've got the Bluetooth in there.
Yeah, mine doesn't work.
So I don't know. All right. Thanks, guys, for all of that. So thanks for the throw to Brendan there. That was really good.
That was weird.
Yeah, that was really.
So I will come back to this thing because someone had asked.
Does Brendan like barbecue? I'm not even addressing that question. So.
We have to not talk about barbecue so much.
No, we have to talk more about barbecue because today what we are actually doing, to be completely honest with you, is barbecuing up the profits. Here we go. Yes, that's me barbecuing. There we go. All right, let's get going here. All right, PayPal guys, this is a stock show, so let's do that. Thank you for putting up with me there. But there we go. PayPal, $1 now in the money. Woohoo! Let's go. We got a little bit of diamond hands on. We got $2 here. We got one on Microsoft and we got one on PayPal. So back-to-back jacks right now. Okay, so a lot of people, Neil, talking about Affirm. Now I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm not trading it.
I followed my rules, man.
Okay, yeah. Quickly, I'll tell you why. Forget about the rules. Well, not forget about the rules. For me, it wasn't even a rule-based thing. And you see what's happening right now? It's actually funny that someone's asking right now about it because my whole thing was when it came back after I finished with that barbecue rant was going to say, why the hell would I trade something when I'm blind? Like, we don't know what that release was about. We don't know if their earnings are good or bad. I reread that. That's crap. Who cares if their users have gone up? They're with Amazon. Of course, they're going to make more transactions. They're going to do all of that stuff. We have no idea about their profitability. We have no idea about anything. So for me,
they're not going to be profitable.
They're not. Well, they're not going to be. Yeah, that's true. But we just don't have an idea of EPS, right?
No.
So the thing is like, I like to know a way, and that's why when we pick the sticky note, like I write down here, Disney, EPS beat, subs up, I like the long, Uber, reasons why I like the short. Like there's different things here, and honestly, for
now
me,
the numbers are actually out.
I mean, the market is tanking right now. So
Rev 361 versus 332, second quarter loss, 57 cents a share. instead
Look
of
at this.
92 cents a share. I would, if it was at 85, I'd be short. But I told you guys I'd wait for 85, and instead it goes to 83 again and then absolutely dies. But yes,
Guys, just reload on PayPal.
Third quarter gross merchandise volume 3.6 to 3.7. So I mean, now it looks like they're just getting around the whole. Okay, we made a mistake by releasing numbers, Brendan.
What you were saying, yeah, this is. Pretty interesting, guys. Looks like they leaked it early, so I guess somebody probably said, no, you should just release it to make sure it is what it is. So, yeah, I mean, I'll sift through the numbers here, but it's just exactly what you were saying there, Neil.
Honestly, this couldn't have.
I shorted the firm today, and it's my worst stock. And look at the chart.
But that's the point, right? You followed your rules. This is not a rule-based stock when it does this, and that's the whole point.
Hilarious.
It's like you can't do that.
Oh, God.
It's, you know, you went long based on, or you shorted based on something, right? Like we don't know this kind of stuff. So all I did was let's go and reload it. It's too. We got to get a graphic for that, Tim. We got like people hear the reload, but. Okay.
Yeah, but the problem is you know what's happening at that moment.
Yeah. But I don't care. We should have a graphic anyway. Something. Maybe just like ducking or something. What's up, Brandon?
Somebody said they bought the halt. I bought a firm $70 before the halt.
It's a busy afternoon with the Fed making some comments, sending the market right back to day lows. Give us your thoughts, I guess, to kick things off here on 7.5% versus 7.3 expected this morning.
Oh, well, I mean, I think that we knew that the inflation numbers were going to be huge, right? I mean, we're seeing it all over the place. Amazon just raised their subscription prices. Grocery store bills are insane. I think that the biggest concern right now, obviously, is how many rate hikes are we going to get? The market's been on shaky ground. This is just one more reason for it to fail at overhead resistance. And right now, with the NASDAQ below a key area of resistance, it is not looking good for the upside.
Of room to go here, it would appear. I want to take a second and from an options standpoint here, when we have breaking news per se. I mean, we knew the inflation data, and then Bullard comes out this afternoon and says, "Hurry up already" with the interest rate increases essentially, and says they want to cut the balance sheet or start reducing the balance sheet ASAP instead of Q2 as they've been talking. From an option standpoint, if you're in a trade or you're managing a trade, what do you do in that case? Is there a way to, safely maneuver a position around breaking news?
So right now in this market, the most important thing any trader, especially an options trader, can do is control your risk before you get into the trade. Because right now, what we say is usually if VIX is up above 17, you want to take your options position and think about the risk size you would normally have. For example, for me, in a directional market, I'll risk upwards of 5% of my account on a given trade. But in this market, with the VIX where it's at, it's 1% to 2%. So the first thing you can do is control your risk, because the problem in this market right now is with these overnight gaps. I mean, there's not a lot you can do if something gaps completely against you. You just have to cut your losses and move on.
So let's get into trade ideas here, because we always have to be prepared. We always talk about being prepared when it comes to inflation staying high. This is obviously higher than expected on this number today. Give me your best idea as far as what to do in a high inflationary environment. And then on the other hand, if we do start to see, things become a little more under control, where are you going to go in that case?
Sure, of course. Can I throw up some charts?
Of course.
Awesome. So right now in this environment, I mean, primarily what I'm focused on is, in options trading, you can focus on trading earnings overnight. So, I mean, that would be some quick short-term trades. But as far as buying and holding long-term shares, right now, what I'm really focusing on due to the environment are really strong companies. I'm looking at basically the top companies in each sector that people are going to have to continue to shop at no matter what their prices are. I really like Costco, for example. Costco tends to do really well on earnings. It's beat earnings 5 out of 8 quarters. last quarter in particular, they gapped up 2% on earnings. They have an earnings report coming up, and they've shown really strong e-commerce growth. So that's one that, it's not necessarily great for day trading because it doesn't move a lot, but I like it as a long-term stock pick. And so I'm focusing on other stocks like that right now, that can get in and buy on a discount because of all the inflationary scares. So a couple others are going to be Walmart, Lowe's, Coca-Cola is looking good. If you look at consumer staples as a whole, they are up at their highs. So, you have to take that into consideration. Obviously, you never want to buy a stock right at the dead high. But I do like the staples here, Hershey's, chocolate, stuff like that.
It was interesting to see the move in Costco's daily chart compared to like a Home Depot even. I mean, a Home Depot with, a monster move off the highs compared to where it was, going back a month or so ago, but still looks pretty good. Let's go to the overall markets here. I mean, we were talking a little bit this morning, the S&P kind of stuck between its 50 and its 200 in a very, very interesting spot. The NASDAQ as well, it could end up being a lower high, or it could end up being just a pause before we get that next leg up. As far as the overall market is concerned, how are you going to approach this?
So approaching the market right here, I mean, I just think that after we have gotten through earnings season, and I mean, look at the amazing earnings reports that we had this quarter. We had Google, it gapped up almost 10%. We had just a phenomenal move in Amazon. And we're sitting here after getting through earnings, and this is what I like to call the time of the FANgover, FANG stocks, hangover, but the FANG stocks. So it's the move post FANG earnings. Yeah. Usually what I'm looking for is for the NASDAQ to trade lower because when we have those kind of phenomenal earnings reports, and the indexes only pop for a few days and can't get through resistance, I mean, I just don't really see any other catalyst to take us higher. So I'm looking for lower prices and a return to the previous lows.
I want to make sure we keep an eye on this Affirm trade open again, moving lower. Now 22%, if you can believe that, for Affirm to the downside. One quick note from the audience from last week when you were with us, Danielle. The energy group has been, pretty impressive over the past month or so. 7-year highs, last week for crude oil. Lots of great looking charts in the energy sector specifically. What are you doing as far as energy stocks these days?
So, I mean, I think that it makes sense, especially, if you're a long-term investor, if you're holding Chevron, if you're holding Exxon, anything like that, I think it makes sense. And, if you want to be selling covered calls on those stocks or selling puts to pick up more, I think that that makes sense. My main problem with these stocks is just, they're all up on new all-time highs. So you look at it, and to me, I don't like to buy anything when it's right at an all-time high. So I would have to get pullbacks to really the 21 EMA on any of these names to jump back in on the trend. So, I mean, at this point, I would really look for just any kind of pullback to get in. I do think energy is going to continue to be strong. I just don't think it's great for an entry right now.
Again, to the downside here. Thoughts on Affirm to wrap things up here?
This is such a crazy move. So when you're looking at this company in particular, the way that I look at earnings is I generally look at what the expected move is versus how it has moved in the past. Now they're pricing in about a $10 expected move. And from the previous moves overnight, you can see we have a $10 move here, which is about 7%, 12% move, $7, 20% move, 23% move. That kind of ticker on earnings is just going to be a complete coin flip and incredibly volatile. It can provide you options in the options market because the implied volatility is so high. So if there's some reason, one way or another, you think, hey, this is going to go higher or go lower, you can come in there and sell calls or sell puts to try to get overnight cash flow on the IV crush. But with something like this, because it's missed 4 times, half the time it's traded higher, half the time it's traded lower, I don't have any kind of stats to say, this is a high probability long or short. And at this time, I mean, you're right on the lows. If you break those lows, you could easily fall even further.
Yeah, especially when it comes out at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, randomly on a Thursday. Danielle Shea, VP of Options at Simpler Trading. We appreciate your time as always. Have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you. You too.
There we go, guys. Look at a whole bunch of stuff, but yeah, what a move in Affirm here.
Yeah, it's like this is crazy because the Astra launch is literally like T-minus 25 seconds.
Yeah. So we're watching that on the side. But
kind of watching the side, but thank you so much.
Thank you to Danielle Shea there. I mean, that was absolutely nuts. We would have liked to have her on a little bit longer, but unfortunately, this Affirm is on everybody's mind. And it's just funny because as people were mentioning Affirm, I was like, I'm not in this because we have no idea what this means. Like, crazy to put in capital on a tweet that just wasn't legit. Like, it's just crazy. But anyways, Affirm all the way to the downside. Look, and Prad's talking about this now on his show. I've been saying buy now, pay never since $140 there. So this is not something that I have just thought about now when this thing's been getting cranked. We talked about this up here, buy now, pay never. So that's when it started, and there it goes to the downside. So on that thought, okay, so we did reload. We got a great trade on Softy there. We reloaded the bank on that one, bang, back to the upside. So now we still have another bid. We'll see if that can go. How I'm playing this Affirm, guys, is through PayPal. So I'll play it through PayPal. Obviously, if PayPal makes money, Affirm doesn't. One's newer, one's older. We know all about PayPal. This one still, like with Affirm making new all-time lows probably, or close enough to it, you know, PayPal is going to get hit on this, right? So as AstraZeneca?
No, Astra.
Oh, Astra's going up. So far the launch just happened there. So we can watch ASTR, is it? Or yeah, ASTR. We'll watch that in a second. But anyways, I'm giving this to 118.50, which is the bottom. We'll average in one more time at 119. It's going to be a hit, but it's not going to be a huge one. So let's just watch out for PayPal here as we are long at 120.24. So we are out 75 cents on this trade right now. No woman, no cry, but we are a little sad about this PayPal trade right now.
Great. So Astra, by the way, the launch happening right now, looks so far like a minute, like 90 seconds into it, looks pretty good. But it went crazy. Like it went, of course. It shot up, and then it was down like from $6 all the way down to $5. Then it made a bit of a bounce.
Put up on your screen.
Yeah, you guys can. There you go. You can.
I'll be responsible if we get a copyright here.
There you go. Leave it for 1,000. No, but this is live.
3, 4. No, maybe we have to get it off. I don't know what the rule is.
So there you go. But that's what's happening to Astra. We're gonna go back to Affirm here. This is. Every time there's a gap news, I'll show you what I tried to do as we're on with Danielle there. But this was the only previous level that it was gapping down into. And once you see it start to fall, it's like you've already missed on the short. I'm basically looking to capture, if it tries to hold its support, allow it to bounce. It bounced for a couple of seconds off of that level I was looking at. So on the way back up, I was able to take 26, 62.50s in front of 61.5 plus slippage. And then you just look back. I'm only really thinking it needs to get to 65 or 66 here. Instead, we head lower. We've just opened back up. 56 is the next level down. We've just managed to open, and that's actually a hold right at 56 even. But as you can see, it's retesting that level. If it can hold 56 and breaks back up, you know, there's probably a trade there. It's now held 56 twice. I'll take my shot if I can get it. Nope, can't get it. I just put a bid in, and it just went like $1 to the upside. I don't want to chase it. That changes the risk to reward.
Yeah, we're crushing it right now, guys. Let's go. Yeah, we take square there on that move. And I told you, like, this is what we're doing, man. Like, I'm not here to play. Like, there goes square to the upside. So let's see what happens right now. We'll see. We'll get a little bit out. We are going to let this drop all the way to the downside. But wow, Neil, Affirm is getting absolutely pumped right now. So
it's still dropping.
I'm glad that we took.
Gotta halt one more time. You have to halt one more time.
I'm glad that we took this.
Greg and them going nuts.
I'm glad we took
that
out.
What the hell?
Right now on some square. But you can see Affirm 52. This is all-time low right now on Affirm. And it's just absolutely getting destroyed. Like, again, whatever. If you're in this name, it is what it is at this point. Get the hell out, because honestly, I have no idea where this is going. Whatever. I don't think this has been a great investment for a very, very long time. But here I am buying PayPal and Square. So who knows what's going to happen now. We'll see if we get a little bit of a bump right there. 50 maybe, Neil? Nope. See ya. Bye-bye 50. Next stop, maybe $20. I have no idea about Affirm. I'm just saying these prices for jokes, but I have no idea where we're going to go on this one. Another one down and out. Oh, I got it. Okay, I'll take it over. Okay, so right now, here goes Square, guys. 108.70. We're still long Square. It bounced off that 108. There we go. Yes, bang, again, man, awesome. Let's go, Square, let's go. Let's go Affirm. Everything's starting to pop up again right now. So there it goes, back up to the upside, guys. No worries on this one. We're at the highest spot we've been at all day right now. Look at that PayPal reload. We were waiting at 119 O's. We didn't get that one. Let's go to the upside. Look at Softy. Softy blowing up right now, Neil. So that's a good one here as we're going on Microsoft. Back to 302. Let's go, Gregory. Let's go. Yeah, on this one.
Firm just went to 50. That's what everyone's going nuts about. So those are 3 key levels. It was 62, 56, and then the last try here at 50s. I got 51s to the long side. I'm basically looking for it to try to fill the gap back in 56 and 60. Those are the 2 levels, somewhere in the middle of that range. At the same time, I'd swear, and I was watching that Astra thing, and I'm watching the thing, and there was like a flash, and it didn't explode or anything like that, but I saw something weird on the stupid thing. And then all of a sudden, Astra was halting to the downside. Like, it was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. I was watching the YouTube thing. It was everything fine with the launch, and I saw this weird flash, something about it going out of the atmosphere, and then next thing you know, it's at $5. So Astra just halted down on that turn. I didn't see anything actually go wrong with that launch. I think everything is still fine, but it definitely shocked everybody there. So Affirm finds its 3rd bottom. Look, I lost, again, keep in mind, I got smoked shorting this thing. If you exclude the shorts on the longs, I'm basically back to flat. If we go back to 60s, I'll be up on the longs because I took the outs in and out really quickly. And then when it goes to the money, I'm going to be able to hold it here. But that short is, I'll never live that one down. I was short at the top and got stopped out in the firm when it went 82 to 50. That's a real thing that happened today. Brendan.
On that ASTR, just seeing a few people talking about an out-of-control second stage ignition. There was no confirmation on that, but a few people talking about an out-of-control second stage ignition, apparently.
Yeah, well, maybe something happened there.
No, so I wasn't trying to panic anybody, but I had the launch up and I saw a flash, and it was like the first thing that came into my mind was when I was a kid in Challenger. Right. But obviously this is just a launch for a satellite.
There's nobody
in it. But it was weird, and it was at the moment that I was trading Affirm, trying to catch those bottoms.
I got you.
So anyways, I just got out of Affirm when it failed at this price at 58. So after all of that, I'm slightly better than where I was when I lost money on the short, as crazy as that sounds. But again, the only plan of action I have when I see moves like that is to simply look for the obvious levels. There's nothing crazy about it. If it bounces off 62 even a little bit, I try it with a stop at that low. If it bounces off 56 even a little bit, I try it with a long with a stop off the low. And I'm going to do the same thing at that 50 level when it got there. Now it's holding to the upside. I'm not trying to hold it to the upside on those halts. I think if it halts the upside, which it's about to do, if it does it a second time, retest some of these levels, it's going to be shortable off of these highs again. So I'd rather just take the money and run, and then reevaluate the trade once again. This is obviously some crazy price action. And to be perfect, let's be clear here about why this is happening. It's the same reason why all of a sudden, after market, you see these nonsensical bids die down. Someone was chasing Qualcomm for 50,000 lots after market. It's because so much is traded on the options now that the volatility is through the roof in equity trading, because people have put these outsized bets on, and we get outsized volatility, which is great for day trades. But it wasn't here, maybe 5-10 years ago. Now it is, and we can all benefit from it. While this was happening, the market retested the lows, bounced off 14.7 in the NASDAQ. We're still 2% down.
Yep, I know. It's all of this. We're just, meanwhile, as they say, your boy is just sitting here as happy as hell because we continue to make that cash, guys. So far, so good. Square, we're going to wait on that. We've made some money, but we did get out for a piece on flat. We're going to see if it tests that 107.50. That's our out. So it goes all the way down there and bounces. Very lucky, but that is our out, 107.50. We'll wait for that one. But these names aren't really reacting too well, though, as much as I thought they would. would, especially on a reopen there for a firm. We'll wait to see. Sorry, I should say we'll wait to see as it reopens. But right now, obviously, a firm is halted again, and it's halted to the upside. So those of you that are interested in what we're talking about, it's halted to the upside now. So hey, if we're halted to the upside, let's go long some of these other payment processors and whatnot and figure out, maybe we got something here. So we're long PayPal already, we're long Square, and ho-hum, we're long Mr. Softy, the biggest and the baddest stock for me, and we're long Mr. Softy right now, $1 again in the money on the reload. So while we were watching the launch, I was launching my net through the roof here as that just goes back up to the upside. So yeah, we're partying on Garth, party on Wayne.
Oh.
I hope you guys know where that's from, but let's get this party started, and let's get it started right.
Yeah, I'm going to hit this one. While all this was happening, Affirm, Astra, Square, the market, that nonsense oh goodness, you had me saying it all day long here. AREB. AREB. You guys probably know the song that Sean talked about earlier. We got that you know what money. They just broke back down to $3, so the short once again. Like I said, I stopped out at 310 when I re-entered the trade. Wait for it to get back to this key price at 330. Once it tested that level and failed, I got back in. It's back at the low of the day. Affirm is indicating an open of $61. It halted at 60.77, so that's a flat open. It's going to be hard to see here, guys.
That's not going to be good.
Yeah, so ideally, it would open higher, retest. The first halt price was $70. Like that's kind of one of those. We actually have a key for this. The line in the sand.
Oh, yeah, yep.
Like that first halt price is a reasonable line in the sand if you want to defend a short. Anything in front of it, I think it's a little bit harder to do off of this 60 level just because it's so far away from where it was trading before, and it's relatively close to that 50 support. I would much prefer, if I'm going to flip to a short side trade, be looking at it running into 70, people taking their profit, and then any kind of a failure there should be the next trade. But yeah, it'll be open up in a couple of minutes here. Yeah, we're not going to be able to get away from Affirm because this is crazy action. And Astra did halt to the downside. Upper stage appears to be tumbling after the engine lit. That's why it's halted down. Crazy price action. If you're trading something like this, obviously, you should be watching and know exactly what's going on because during a launch, clearly anything can happen. You never want to root against something like that, but it's halted downside, indicating opening 10% lower. So it's halted at 5, gonna open up, it looks like, at 455. So Astra's under some serious pressure.
So Square, I mean, we're basically out of this one as it just went to the upside. We're going to wait for a firm to reopen, but it should be 5 minutes, right, on that halt, on the volatility halt. So, or is it 10? It's 5 minutes, right? On the volatility halts.
5 or 10.
5 or 10. So we'll see. But right now, we just took some piece out on Square. Next spot out, honestly, 110. If it goes up to 110, we'll get out some there. But I don't have. Actually, that is where my offer is. So 110, another piece out on Square. If it does go back up, we'll make $1.50. On that as well. So hopefully that goes. $1 in the money on Softy. And we're just waiting for PayPal to make some actionable moves to the upside right now as we averaged. Like as soon as that came out, man, we went right over to PayPal and started hitting that. So let's watch it. There goes Square. All right, Square. 55 cents now in the money and moving around. So let's wait. AFRM. I just don't want this one to open up and we ain't on it, right? So there it is, 60. It's tapping 60 flat. So what was the closing? Yeah, so 60.77. That's exactly where it's tapping. There it is. So it does open up exactly where it closed. And see ya. So watch out. I mean, I say see ya, but it's flashing $3. Neil, it just touched there 58 or something. 59, 13.
To 61 half.
60, yeah, so $3 up there. And what near the range, $2 and change. So that just goes to what you were saying. Like nobody has any idea where this is going. So I mean, just play it within your own ranges. But remember, you guys are never going to forget that buy now, pay never that we talked about back at 140. So there it goes at the upside. Microsoft right now is just like ho hum, hold our beer because the NASDAQ is going to the upside, and all these clowns are talking about Affirm when look at what's happening with Microsoft right now. So a nice move up for Microsoft, but yeah, Affirm, I mean, we can't avoid it, right? I mean, it's a trading show, and they came with some spice today, needless to say. We're right here. I'm going to get out of Square. Like I'm waiting for 1 penny higher. I don't think so. Let's just take this Square out. What's up, Brandon?
Another one getting hurt a little bit on this news as well. Upstart, guys, obviously UPST. Trying to bounce as well. It just failed pretty bad, though, at 105 there on volume. Back to the downside for this one, too.
So, I mean, the other thing, too, is I'm still in this Uber trade. Why is the alarm still going off?
I was just went from like happy to sad. But first of all, yeah, right now.
Come on. Seriously? Anyways, I'm going to yell over this fire alarm, guys.
Yeah, if you guys, just so
It's
you
out of
know,
control.
yeah, right now it is a fire alarm test
But-
in our building, but it's just a test. The whole building could be burning down. I'm not leaving, so it's irrelevant to me. But look at
The
Square.
old fire marshal at the old office.
Yeah, exactly. I used to be our old fire marshal. I was more like Fire Marshal Bill. But look at Square right now going to the upside. And yeah, guys, let's go. Bang. It's hot dog time because Square is now $1.38 in the money. Microsoft is $1.20 in the money. And PayPal, we motoring backside right now. So let's go PayPal. Let's go Square. Let's go, man. We are ready to rock and roll. Now, this has nothing to do with the trucks or anything like that.
No,
we were doing testing all week. So as long as Greg lets us know if he sees smoke other than coming out of my computer. Affirm open back
Look,
up?
man, look, if Affirm doesn't get to $70 in that range it's in right now, I just think it's you find a bottom, you're able to take it, ends up giving you like $7 to $10 from there. But I'd rather be fading 70 even than trying anything else. The market tries to bounce. I'm still in this Uber trade. Uber is testing the lows now 3 or 4 times off 38. I don't see any reason why I need to get out of it just yet, but I do need to put a trail on it, however. I had not been trailing it till break even. I wanted to hold on to it. We're now 45 minutes from the close, so obviously you know it's going to get out. It's going to get taken out before the end of the day. So I'm going to put the trail right down. If it breaks the bottom cluster, then even Uber looks like it's going to get off the schneid here, and we might not get the 2 or greater than $2, $3, $4 that we would have liked on this trade, but we'll be happy to at least lock in $1.50 on Uber.
See it, Jackie. See everybody, guys. AMC ripping. We are just going nuts right now. Look at Square. Look at Square as it's just rocking to the upside right now. Square making that cash over and over and over again as this just keeps on ripping to the high side right now. Square, we are $2 in the money on Square. We just got an out on PayPal. Look at that out. 120.50 right here. So a good out on PayPal as well. As all we're doing is stacking that cash today. Microsoft continues to go upside. I mean, maybe I'll just get this out. I don't know. I mean, the NASDAQ has bumped back up a little bit. We got saved off the bottom there on that move. So Square, I think Affirm had a lot to do with that move down, and obviously now it's settled down. So it's come back in a little bit. So 303.50 right now. I'm not dumping this softy trade because we're going to get out at 301.50, but wow, a nice little move backside. Look at this, reload, reload, reload. Let's go Square. There goes PayPal starting to go back to the upside now. Let's go on that one. And then other than that, man, Microsoft, Square, and PayPal, that's all. Like, who knew we'd be into Square? But that's where preparation is key, right? The minute Affirm started going down, we immediately went over to Square, identified that trade, and now we've got $2 in the money on SQ, and now there goes PayPal. Wow, what a day, guys, what a day. We go mamma mia on that one. National Pizza Day was yesterday.
Yeah, well, Astra now is indicating $3.28 for an open. It's not even a 10-minute halt at this point. My guess is, yeah, they have it up here as a volatility halt, but given the nature of what happened, I'm not even sure when it is going to open back up. I wouldn't be surprised if it did extend like a half an hour into the close. Like, who knows? But they indicated they also probably can't find a market on it right now. That's why it's indicating, going to open down almost $2 full. The last time we saw something this sort of insane, when we got taps down on the stock that was this high and went to penny stock status, it was a God mode long, so I am going to keep watching it. If this starts to get out of hand and the tap just keeps falling, and they try to open this thing up at $1 or something crazy, it would make some sense. I mean, we'll see I haven't seen a resume time. I see someone just posted 5:15. I haven't seen a resume time, so I'm not going to say. That's
it's not resuming at 5:50.
That makes no sense.
I mean, it's
that
not.
Makes no sense.
I think there's a rule that if the NASDAQ doesn't open it for the mock, then it doesn't get open. So wait to see on that. I'm not sure.
I could see them open up after the close. That could happen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry. Yeah, after the close, which the 5:15 could be right. No idea. I mean, if you know about it, you know about it. So you don't want to say that that's incorrect.
And how do we know, Scott Welch? It's actually, the resumption time is going to always be at the NASDAQ website. They'll put it up when they have a quote resumption time. The theoretical auction price is actually part of the data feed that you get from the market. It's automatically in our system in P-Pro 8 at Day Trade of the World, so we can see it live, but it's in the market data feed, the SIP. So if you don't get it through your broker, you can always ask them how you could get it. It might be an add-on feature, who knows? But at Day Trade the World, we have it built into our platform.
Yep. I see what you're talking about there, Mike. I love Google, and I did buy some. I have to go double check the price, but I think it was around these prices here. Where's their daily chart? So all the way up, we came back in. No, it wasn't. It was higher. Well, maybe we wicked. I don't know. It was, anyways. It was in the second day when they got hit down there. So, I mean, I probably am reloaded here. I believe there's a reload in Google. Your price that you gave is 25 is great, down to the downside. So again, guys, pardon us. We are in a building that is doing, it's annual. So if you stick with us for the next hour until the market closes, it shouldn't happen again because they were doing it all week.
They got to be close to done by now.
They should be close to done. That's the problem. Maybe we're in a building. We're not in a bunker or anything. What's up, Brendan?
I think it is the last day. They're going through or unit to unit to unit to unit, testing the fire. It's crazy. Boeing, I didn't see a reaction on this, but this just came across. The U.S. has approved a $13.9 billion potential sale of F-15ID aircraft to Indonesia. Boeing is the principal contractor on that deal, so heads up on Boeing.
Yeah, and heads up, I mean, a firm got to 65 in turn, but like I said, like when something goes into multiple halts, it has to go all the way back to the top or test a halt level I like. So it's 70 or bust. Like there's no fighting around with it. The market just had another sort of right turn. Looked like we were bouncing on the NASDAQ, and then we had a bit of a right turn just in front of 14.8. As that was happening, Uber took out the low of the day. So I put the trailing stop in so that I could hold this trade through the low. We sort of opened with this one with that idea that we were holding the original trade, and then it halted, went crazy. We got back in after things calmed down. It was a mistake to get out. Like I said, it was a mistake to get out. It gave me a chance to get back in, so now we're holding through the low. It just broke that recent low. There was a wick down here on the reopen, really on volume 38 was it. So if it either breaks 38.40 or we're holding to 350. That's going to be the plan of action here for Uber. I want to be getting over to Astra, but it doesn't feel like. My guess is it actually doesn't open up till 4 o'clock. If I had to guess, given how serious it is and the fact they can't seem to make a market, that would make some sense to me. And Affirm, I'm done trying the long in Affirm. Like that was in the moment of panic where everyone's panicking. That's the only place I wanted to try to catch a bounce. Liquidity vacuum, it did eventually give you the in, but you can't average into this. I've seen traders, many names online, whose strategy is to try to just sort of get in and hold average into the bottom when something's halting multiple times. I would rather take the paper cuts and then risk missing the low. It's the same thing in the other direction. You just play it in both ways. And while all that was happening, I just wanted to come back over to, if I can, one name which has been holding up, at least for now, but has an actionable level above the low of the day. I was short in Twitter and didn't give it to the high of the day. You're seeing it start to roll off, but that's a market thing. This looks like anything that's not testing the low has breakable levels if the low gets taken at 14.7 on the NASDAQ and held. So Twitter just fall into that category around this 37 level, just looking for things that are showing some signs of a level that can break. On the other side of that as well is Micron, something that could bounce if we get a good low and you want something which is held up really nicely. There's no chip name that's been stronger than Micron today. So it's held 91 a couple of times here in the afternoon show. Decent chance it can make a bit of a breakout. But I want to see this. I want to see 14.7 hold on the NASDAQ one more time because a few things are retesting the bottom. So hanging on to the shorts we got, looking for Micron to see if it can hold 91.
All right, yeah, Mike. I mean, I think that's what you got to do, and I think we should have gone to that in the first place, right?
Like
when the market, yeah, I know. When the market, well, it's actually at its lows, so it's not like we missed it. But I think when the market's getting cracked like that, that's what you want to do. You want to go over to a name that is relatively strong against. And I heard Arun talking about, I think it was MFC or something that was pretty strong, and he was talking about the relative strength. So I think that that's really, honestly, that one of the most important things you can do. We identified that Microsoft was actually weak today, so I'm doing the opposite by buying some of these bottoms, but at the same time, it just broke through the 50 period and we got out. Unfortunately, that was at 202.30, so we did get out of that one. We're still in our Square and our PayPal. PayPal target, we had another one up here. That doesn't look like that's going to work out, so we're very, very close here. The ultimate bottom is 118.50. We're not, we were able to get some out, so I don't know if this is a reload spot or not. Like before I go back over to, I'm going to go to Brennan in a second. I just want to see what Affirm was doing. Did it really get to 70?
No, it didn't.
No, it it didn't. Okay,
no,
so
it didn't.
66 high on Affirm, and now you're right back to these bottoms again. So makes sense why PayPal and Square going back down. Sorry about that, Brendo. What's up?
Just to make it official on that Astra space, this is the statement here. They experienced issues during today's flight that resulted in payloads not being delivered to orbit, according to Reuters. For
I just
Astra.
didn't know it.
Of course.
So we're sort of talking here. It's like I kind of did see that live,
Yeah,
and
but
I could
like
have.
you said, like there's no
But I wasn't
way.
sure what I saw. Like that's the reality. I saw it. I saw a flash. I wasn't sure what I saw, so I can't just. You would never just punch short on that kind of. I mean, you could, but just I wouldn't.
Well, that's the
punch short.
point. Some people were trading Affirm, and I know you were in it, but it's different.
Yeah.
Some people were trading Affirm as if they knew something, and then it was like bang. So if you go long on ASTR because you see that, like it's always better to miss like a 10% move when and be informed than to worry about getting the tops or the bottoms.
This
But
market's testing the low.
yeah, I don't know.
AMD's breaking down.
The
It's about
market's okay.
It's about 5% down on AMD. I saw someone mentioning this in the chat. The only level that we liked was in the morning off that 128. Now that that's been broken, look, there's maybe something here, 125, 126. Like just going back a couple of days ago in the afternoon, it managed to hold at lunchtime. But there's somewhat of a significant gap between that and where there was real price like there was a real bottom at 122 on the stock a couple of days ago. I think it's maybe something there at 126. I would not be jumping in front of the sword on AMD. And look, let's keep a few things in mind. The Fed is possibly the reason for this move, but on the long term, the only issue with AMD, if you swung AMD off the bottoms, should you have had to stop a trail in here? Yeah, I mean, it went 30% and is now giving back like the first like $8 of that move. On a swing from down here, you'd be taking profits. If you bought something to hold it for 10 years, are you spooked by this? My answer would be no. If you bought it to hold for 10 years, for 5 years, you should not be spooked by what's going on here today. But if you swung into something or in the profit, well then yes, it could make some sense to take some out. But you have to know what you were trading for, what you were investing in, your reason for being in it. Like some things shouldn't freak you out when you have a long enough time frame. Brendo?
CNR just halted to the upside. So CDNR is said to be weighing an offer for the rest of Cornerstone Building that it doesn't already own. So this is not Canadian National if you're trading in Toronto. This is Cornerstone Building, and apparently there's an offer coming, guys. So halted upside for this one.
Offer coming, you say?
I'm glad you said that because I would have thought CNR in Toronto.
Yeah, Canadian National Railway, which is obviously a much bigger market cap than those guys. Earnings is crazy today after hours, so get ready. We might get a big imbalance number, just the way this market is moving. I don't know what people are thinking about some of their holdings and what they want to do with it. I just want to quickly talk about, can you do full screen? Will it show this bottom or no? Yeah, it does, okay. So I just want to say that basically we are, I was going to say shooting blanks, but that doesn't sound that good. So let's just go, we're at the free throw line and we're just kind of like hitting our shots. But look at this. So we're into PayPal right there, then we're out. So like this is a win, right? But here we go. We're in PayPal there and we're out there. Then we're in again here. And we're out at the same price again. So in all of this chaos, sure, we made money on this. Take it there, average in, boom, that's it. But now we still have a small piece left because this was a double. So you can see where we're long now, 119.96. That's right here, the same price that we got in and the same price that we just got out. So although PayPal not acting well off this Affirm news, what is Square. So Square right now, as you can see, in one time, we were actually waiting for lower. Our out was going to be 107.50, so I didn't, have, and we're very lucky not to get out. I think we're like 107.30 or something. But anyways, we should have took more shares there, but this is actually above our price, right? So we're now at $1.25, $1.40 now in the money on Square, but I want to hold this one, see if we take out these highs again, and then that should trigger PayPal as well to the upside. And then obviously I'm seeing what Softy's doing, a little bit of a mistake getting out, maybe not. We're only down now 10 cents on our out because it's just flashing back and forth, but I'm pretty happy to be out of Softy here. And it held at 301.50 there on Softy. So that's that. And a big shout out, someone just said there, I ain't teaching anybody to catch a falling knife, first of all. I don't know who that was who said that, but here we go. I want to say what's up to our Whoosh Bait, because he took the short apparently and crushed it on ASTR. So good job there.
Yeah, good job.
And and maybe people weren't talking to me or to you about that falling knife, but you know, honestly, if you're talking about a firm, I like red flagged this as soon as I saw that tweet. Like, so even on Prad's show, we were like, nah, man, that ain't nothing. So watch out for that tweet. Happened right here, right? And then it was just like, be very, very careful with it. Then they took it down and then they released, and now you're seeing what's happening. They're actually probably pretty lucky, because if they released a report that's getting hit that badly when there's no liquidity in the market, this thing might have cracked a hell of a lot lower than where it did. But $50 is pretty damn low. So,
well, I think part of the problem is I'm almost going to guarantee you people put some bets on after the tweet that exacerbated the situation. Like that
true.
has to be part of the equation here. And like let's remember a couple of things, because I like pointing out things I do stupidly. The reason I lost on the short was because my initial fill was on an order that I left out, right? So and that's the thing about leaving orders out in stocks, is that you're going to do that in long term sometimes. You get stink bids. Of course, you want to take profit on a swing. You're going to do that. But as a day trader, you don't need to have that. Like, once it bounces, you can make a decision when it gets back to the price. When it's trading at that level at 80 and I'm wanting to make that curl, you know, at that point I can have the order out there. But once it breaks VWAP, it's now down at $76. There is zero reason to still, like, you don't need to do it. And I showed you the bad reason because I wasn't watching the stock. This is the problem. And then all of a sudden, the tweet obviously happens. And the only reason I even know it was a tweet is because I got short. And then I'm like, what's going on? Why did I get that filled? The stock was trading at 76, now it's at 80. And then I'm digesting the information when that's not the way you want to be making a trade. And that's why I was down. If it wasn't for that, I'd be up on the longs, but it doesn't matter. Like, I already took that hit. And it is what it is. Like, before I could even do anything, it was at 82.5. And we're getting punked. Right now, I don't think there's anything to do. I think it goes to 70, and that would have been the level. Now we're at that 60. The market still feels like the VIX just broke tops, so the market does still feel like it wants to roll over some more. I was just about to double check on AMD, because I know I was talking about the weaker level at 126. That's breaking right now. 22s does feel like something, but again, like, these are day trades. It's like, if you find a good level, you can anticipate there's going to be a bounce there. Softy 300 can be something along those lines. But I'm just hanging on to Uber. That feels like, you know, that's the trade I'm going to be managing. I thought I would be getting into a firm. I anticipated maybe we'd get to trade some Astra. But at this point, I think we can pretty safely say they wouldn't open it up after this long unless it was going to be aftermarket.
Yeah, and I just feel bad because I should still be in Uber, man. I mean, Uber, we were short right there, 39.75. We covered that for 60 cents, and then we were short earlier. And again, if you're not following the sticky note, that's fine, your choice. But I will keep talking about it because I am pretty proud of it, and I'm proud of the followers that are now all over this. So, you know, Disney, we talked about them. Here's Uber, man. Look to the short. Like, we talked about looking short 42, right? We talked about looking AMC long, which we had the AMC long. I could talk about that. We had the long at 1780. Stock went to 21 something. And then Roblox, 68. We had the 68 as well on Roblox. So I'll put that in the chat one more time. And if you guys can also hit the like button, let's do that as much as we can. We have over not 7,000 for this show, I don't believe. Over 4,000 watching, 600 likes. So please, guys, we've brought you everything today. So let's see if you can hit that, and we'll get that up to 1,000 likes would be awesome. But yeah, Uber still killing the short. There it goes, breaking those levels. See you later.
The market's
on that one. Yeah, the market is absolutely getting clubbed right now, which is fine. This is why we're out. Like, we're holding a very small piece of Square. As it comes back down to this level, we will put another bid on here and respect that 107.50 close or low print. And then PayPal, again, like, we got out there like sniffing out that's not cool no more. And now PayPal coming to the downside too. So we'll double check our stop orders, but right now it's PayPal 118.50, and we will be getting more shares here. And Square, my stop, and we'll call that up, is 107.50, and we will be getting more shares pretty soon on this name as well. So let them fall down just a little bit more because, you know, It'll be a losing trade at the end of the day. We will be positive on Square and on PayPal if some of you are asking for that. And I do want to give a big thank you to Jesse, I believe there. I missed the super chat. Thank you so much. First beer's on you. Thank you, Jesse. Much appreciated. Or sorry, might not be Jesse. JD's 357. So maybe we'll have a shot at JD instead of the beer. So thank you so much for that one, Mr. JD.
Little Jack.
Yeah, we probably won't have it. I mean, honestly, I don't drink in the middle of the week, so that's that.
Weekends.
Unless I go out, then we're down. So you guys want to go out and watch a game? We could do that, but not a huge drinker, but definitely.
There's a game this weekend that's kind of interesting.
Oh yeah, there's a Super Bowl.
What's that?
Yeah, we'll be doing.
Oh, that's the thing. Yeah.
We'll be doing some of that during that.
Think about it. You don't want to watch tomorrow. We have something for the Super Bowl for tomorrow. That CNR open back up that Brendan brought to your attention. Not really doing much. It's sort of hanging around 18 to 18.20, just going back and forth. Volume kind of dying down as we speak. So I'm not sure there's going to be an actionable trade there. If I make another play, look, I'm just holding Uber. I think it's probably going to be. I see Softy 300 is the most likely thing to come in. And again, like if you're in a short, there's not much reason not to just hold on to it at this point. Otherwise, you look for something that could be actionable. 31 is right here. Sorry, 31. 300 is right here on Microsoft. And if there's any kind of a bid, the idea would be as a day trader, you go long, you get a good price, tight to that 300 level, and just try to scalp it, right? Like you try to risk a few points. Maybe it's 20, maybe it's 30. If the level breaks, fine, but you can make $1 on the way back. Look at how many times, like Sean was showing you, it did that off 301.50. So if it does the same thing off the 300, we still have 25 minutes to go for there to be an actionable trade. But the future is now 2.5 down on the NASDAQ and accelerating. So it looks like we might test these levels.
Yuck. Nasty day today. Well, again, you had the CPI. Like, for us to say that this is a surprise today, I mean, we had the CPI number come out this morning, and the market tanked off that. We almost got back to green, and then it was what it was. We tested one time on Facebook, man, and this is a loser stock for us here today. The only losing stock I have on the whole damn board, AMC, Disney, Ford, Facebook, Microsoft, PayPal, Roblox, Square, Uber, all positive. One loser, Facebook, and it's a small one. It's 229.50 out, 228.80. So 70 cents there. We got out, and good thing we did, because there it goes right down to the downside. We could have the epic squeeze happening to the downside. It won't be a squeeze, I guess, a free for all. I just feel like there could be a lot of people caught now because we did get some nice, not on Facebook. I'm just talking about the market, actually. Let's talk about the market, because I don't mean this for Facebook. As we now are average into PayPal and into Square, obviously on this move down. But I feel like people may have gotten a little excited on the last couple days here. We had some good days. We made that bottom in the Qs of 350 or so. That was not even the bottom, but anyways, we were down here at 350. There's the bottom. And then people were like, okay, we missed this, but we have this. And then you got some bump ups. You got some more bump ups. Started testing up here. I think a lot of traders might have thought we were in the clear. I don't know about the clear, but definitely thought that it was buying season again. And honestly, I mean, now all of these here, everybody here that's bought in the last little bit, and your boys included here, anybody that's bought in here has something coming if it breaks this bottom. So just watch out. You could get margined and things like that. This could be an epic tank if we take out these lows in the Qs, which is 335.
I just want to remind everybody that, yeah, I know we got the CPI today, but, and I'm not trying to rag on Bullard or the Fed or anything. It's just, you got to understand that what they say matters. And today, he said some things that have shocked the markets and turned things around heavily. And we actually had we found bottoms after the CPI number and looked like we were leveling off, even after pulling back off 15,000. So I'm not saying we would have held all of the gains, but this is happening right now because of some of what he said, which was extremely aggressive, and we don't know what's going to happen. Like for the chance of from quarter to a 50-point hike to have gone as wildly upside as it did, like that doesn't happen all the time. And VIX breaking highs. Oh
Here
my
we
goodness.
go.
I didn't see this coming, but Astra did open up there. I was a bit shocked to see it open up at 337. Where'd that come from?
Here we go. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Nice little move back up here for Square. That's what you call an average in. Right on that bottom, guys. Right there. So there it is, man. We'll take that out soon. I put an offer at 109 all the way up here. So let's see if it can climb. I don't know. I mean, we're getting a little bit of reprieve here in the futures, so I don't know if that's going to be the case. And then we also, yes, sir, there it is. We're going to take a little bit out of PayPal here because we can do that right now. But PayPal right now starting to rock and roll to the upside. Let's hit offer enter on that and take this out. Bang! There it is. Another one for you guys on that as we get what you call, dead cat bounce not working, but we'll just slap our face around. Oh, that's not working either. Are these things working? They are not. Right now, no graphics working, Lucas, Tim, but there it is. PayPal upside, 50 cents in the money, and there goes Square to the upside as well. Now 60 cents in the money, so yeah, I just hit it again, doesn't work, so we will not hit any graphics, but there we go. Square busting, and now PayPal busting, and we're at the high of the day.
Yeah, that the VIX actually turned around a little bit there. I just moved my trail on Uber down to 38, so we'll try to lock in $2 no matter what. Astra did open back up, not for very long. It opened at 325 and just halted at 359. I was looking for, like, obviously I didn't see it opening up at that time. Like, it just kind of came out of nowhere. I tried to flip to it, and you can imagine what happened when I tried to change the chart. But it halted upside. There was an opportunity from looking at the level too, like maybe to have actually gotten shares at that top at 359, but I wasn't looking to make that trade. Now, the trade I would have tried to make is it open above 3, see if you can't get a bid, and then just put your stop out in front of that $3 level. But now that it's open, there's a chance it could have one more shot, the 337. At this point, if it doesn't open again, it has to be 4 o'clock. And if it halts again after this, it would then be a 4 o'clock open as well. But I'm just going to move my trail on Uber. That's still falling. The market's still looking relatively weak. Like, I don't think the trend has changed overall. There was just a nice little bounce. But we went like 37.40 back to like 37.75, still through that low of the day break. But look, if we're going to take out that previous low, 37.85, maybe get through 38s, I'll just make sure we lock it in. We have 10 minutes until the imbalances come out. I'd leave the trail in through that. Likely a firm that I'll be watching going into those imbalances. It hit 56, by the way.
Firms hit 56?
Well, not just. In all of that, it hit 56 again, but it has since bounced.
Yikes. Square, though, we come flying in with that one, and we'll go, what a roller coaster it's been today. Thank you, Lucas, for getting on those. But there it is, man. There's another dollar. We just took right there. 107.97, out 108.97. So it's like we, just taking these dollars, like, back and forth again here in the market. So, like, don't sleep on these trades that are happening here. PayPal also, man. We just took $1 on that one. 119, sorry, not $1. 119 flat. Out 119.53. So now we'll wait to see if this can go up. So that's meanwhile, just as Neil was talking, I just took $1.53 there. So, I mean, this is what I mean. The market is nuts right now. You can get a lot of good bids here. It's 340. The imbalances are going to be coming out soon. We'll have that for you, obviously, here. Let me just make sure that I get the source properly, disable that. So when this comes out, oopsies, maybe I only have ARCA now. Oops, I might have really screwed this up. All right, so there it is. Now we'll only have NASDAQ. We will get this refreshed when the NYSE comes out, and you'll see all these times incorrect. We are going to, is ASTR halted? No.
ASTR? No, it halted instantly after opening back up.
Oh, it hasn't opened back up again.
No, it opened and then instantly halted again.
Right, okay, so there it is right here. So this is what I mean. See, how did we know that? Because ASTR, look at the time here. This is going to give you seconds as well, but ASTR halted right there. The only one. There's the Affirm halt that happened, obviously at 3, the last one's at 312. So here's the the ASTR halt. And as you can see right now, there's a bid. So there are 3,600 shares right now, and that's just going to keep changing. Now, see, now it's a sell, so, as it gets settled down, so it might be getting close to opening as it's bouncing back and forth here. But again, this is a completely different piece.
Yeah, the auction price is flat right now.
Yeah, so as you can see, it's just back and forth. See, now it's a bid again. So anyways, let's go over to Brendo.
A lot of big movers here this afternoon. Zendesk, guys, ZEN in New York, just from 102 to 115. Jana Partner is apparently looking for a seat at the board. So they're an activist investor heavily into this one, and they want a seat at their board, guys. So big move for Zen.
Yeah, you've got to have your Zen today, that's for sure.
Calm down.
So I got out of that AREB stock, but I've actually moved my trail once again because I just had just had Uber curl off of the previous low of the day. It goes to 37.75. The previous low was 37.85. So I moved the trail from about evens to quarters to actually at that 37.85 level. So I'm just getting a little bit more aggressive with it. Of course, it indicated it was going to open up flat, and then it does open up to the upside on ASTR. You know, whatever. If you actually took the halt trade, that would have worked. But that's not what I was looking to do. I was looking to maybe catch it off for $3 even, if anything. Now $4 might be resistance. If it halts one more time, I don't think it's going to have a chance to reopen until 4 o'clock. But it's a crazy mover. The launch was obviously had a hiccup. What am I even saying hiccup? I had a failure.
It exploded.
Yeah. I don't know if it was a full. I don't know if you can use. See, there's like terminology you're supposed to use when there's a malfunction. Like
went boom.
Broke up, went boom, had a mechanical failure. There was. I think Brennan actually had the actual response. So I went upper stage appears to be tumbling shortly after the engine lit. Was what they said. So I don't want to say anything off bounds if that's what they're saying. I saw a flash and then saw the stock drop. That's what I saw. So.
My shoelaces keep getting undone here, so
It's a ghost, man.
I know it is a ghost. What's going on over here? I just got to do.
I gotta
do the double knot on those. Okay, so it's 3:43. I'm just want to wait for these imbalances to come out. We could check back on something. Let's check out on how Apple's doing. Apple is one of those names where 1.7. I was going to say it's been hanging out pretty high side, but yeah, not today, man. Today it's coming to the downside, and you can see. Look at it. Just respect this 50 period all the way down. So yeah, watch out here for Apple as that's starting to go lower. That's not going to be good for any kind of imbalances coming through here. And this is what I meant, or what I mean, not meant, what I mean by Apple here. I'm letting it load for the 200 period, and then we'll zoom back in a little bit. You can see that we're still holding out here above the 50 period. There's almost no major cap tech stocks that I can find, unless for some reason Microsoft is above it now, but I don't know. Let's check Microsoft. Above the 50 period, let me just check Microsoft here so I can figure. Nah, see, it's not. So that's still at 318, so we were right about that at least. But Apple, the only one that's still above here. When this card falls, oh boy, just watch out below is all we can really say. And that's what I was talking about, the mother of all traps being happened on the high side now for a lot of us. I've been buying, like I said, I bought some Facebook, some CRM, some Shopify, some of these names on these dips, some Google as well. But they can easily just go out of the money just as fast as they went into the money. So be very, very careful. Just going through my board here, I don't really, Canada Goose could be an interesting buy at some of these levels. Goose on New York, I'm going to say, is right. Yeah, so they're at like multi-lows here. They're almost back to their 52-week low here. No, not their 52-week low. Okay, was that today? Yeah, that was today. So they are at their 52-week low today. So that's the 20-minute chart. Let me check the day chart. Yeah, so here it is right here. I believe, anyways, this is the 52-week low. If we're not a lot, okay. So we got back, 52 weeks. Okay, so that is the low. Bouncing right now. Might be a good pickup. I just wanted to say that I haven't read over the report, but this is a name that's bouncing again off of some levels. So without reading the report, you may just want to do some due diligence on Canada Goose. Obviously, it's a seasonal product, and you're through the winter months, but guess what? It happens every year.
Yeah.
So, you got to figure that stuff out. I mean, we were just near the highs in the summer of $44. Now you're down to 28. So you can get that figured out on Canada Goose, as we're now only 4 minutes away from the imbalance.
Yeah, and there was a question in the chat. So I think it was Bo in the chat saying they have a long off 50 and a firm. Should I swing it? My question to them was, have you taken profit? Like if you just got 50 to 65 and say banked like 75% of that for profit, and you're rolling with house money just to see if you can get a home run, that's one thing. If you put an actual real amount of capital into this, and you just want to sit there hoping you can turn what has just been like a quick 20%, now 15% gain into 50. To me, I don't think that makes a heck of a lot of sense with the risk of earnings. It's shown you what the bid is like in this situation, right? I mean, the VIX is still exploding here, and the market is still trending to the downside. Like, it's shown its hand. Sure, there could be a possible home run on the off chance, maybe. But to me, you just can never be playing that way. It's not always about hitting the home runs. If you bank profit and then take that portion that you now can't turn negative on it and want to try to roll a home run there, that's how you build. That's how you go from making a bit to making more and then to lasting. Like, that's the type of attitude that gets you, from point A to having a longer career doing something like this, instead of every single trade maybe risking your future being a trader. So anyway, that's just my 2 cents. I mean, there's no way you're not looking at, like, I didn't hold it to the first halt when I got long off 50, but that's just me.
Yeah. We just got out, by the way, of Square. So we just got out of some Square there as it takes down that bottom. So that's why, like, yeah, take your cash. Like, look at this, 107.94. We take the dollar. We talked about that. That's a clean dollar. And then look where we got out, 107.49. So net, that's still a 50-cent win. So that goes to Neil's point on a more smaller scale, that if you could take profit, then yeah, you can hold for that disaster move to the downside there because you've taken profit. And to be honest with you, the same thing's happening right now with PayPal. As that, we took the clean dollar again. And this time we have her out at 118.50, which, as long as my order's there, which it is, like to Mike's point, what's up, Mike Crehan there on the chat as well. I have an offer out already. PayPal. So out of all the names I've traded today, I believe there's 10 of them or 11 of them. I'm only red on one, and it's Facebook, and I was 0 for 1 on that trade. So a part of me wants to go over to Facebook to change that, but that's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to trade opportunities, not like try to get revenge. But here we go. The market's getting ready for a dump, maybe. And the reason why we say that is just, I mean, if the imbalances come out of buy, I'd be surprised, but there it goes to the downside. No real updates, so we'll see what happens here as we go with only now, Neil, 1 minute left.
Yeah, 1 minute to go. And I just, like I said, I mean, whether you track UVXY or the VIX itself, this is what's basically happening. You're getting a break through the top. That's why we're seeing acceleration down. Well, one of the reasons we're seeing acceleration down through lows. To the point AMD, which we were talking about a little bit earlier, it's just like there was no support level. Once it broke 128, like there hasn't been anything. You know, like it's not, like it hasn't slowed. Like Microsoft slowed down at 300 because there's 300 of Microsoft and it's been support where there's buyers there. But like the buyers that have shown up on AMD previously, like look where there was price acceptance. You go back here and see where was there real price acceptance at these levels when it was falling, and it's down at 22. It's down at 120. It's, you know, it was at one point, you know, resistance into support at 128. But again, that's more previous resistance and support. That's kind of a guess, really. At the end of the day, sometimes you just have to be patient and say, hey, it's falling, it's broken support. You know, at this point, you hang on to your shorts. I have my trail on Uber as the balances come out right now.
Yeah. I don't think they're anything. Oh, we just got trailed out there on PayPal. So PayPal just tanked down. I don't think it's that bad of a sell, but it looks like it's starting to escalate here to the downside. So watch out for your sell orders.
Uber's $1 million to sell, but it's not moving.
Yeah, we have it up here. So let's just quickly look. BMY. Yeah, there's Uber. We'll have a look here. 1 million to sell. So we'll see. This is a 1 minute chart, so you'll be able to see some of that. Intel's a buy. That's ran away from 50 yesterday, obviously, as everything's down. There's Apple with a sell, so you're seeing that starting to make a move to the downside as well right there. I don't see a hell of a lot. Pinterest is a buy. We don't have to go over that. ATVI, yeah. So actually, pretty muted, man, considering the day. I thought it'd be a little bit more.
Yeah, just so you know, Astra did open back up. It's at like 360 or something. Maybe it'll actually be able to trade going into the close. Like you showed, it's $1 million on Uber to sell, but not really doing much. I guess it's already fallen here. I just keep moving my trail. I will have to get out in the next 7 minutes or so, but we'll try to hold it as close to the close just to see how far it can go. Likely it finds a bid at 37 or something like that, just because it's even. But we are seeing acceleration in the overall market. As it's kind of flush city. We've basically gone right down to, this was yesterday at about 2 o'clock. We had a bit of a dip into 14.6 on the NASDAQ. We're sitting there. Maybe it catches a bounce off that. Who knows? That was a wick bottom before. If it bounces, great. I think that would be fantastic. But realistically, there's no recovering from what's happened. We get the CPI number. We have the Fed talking. They've definitely pulled the rug a little bit. And what better way to end the day than also get another fire alarm?
Yeah, we love the fire alarm.
I love it.
Yeah, now the market's starting to go back up, so you are seeing a stock like a Square and all that. Whatever, we got out on that. The imbalance came out. It was pretty bad to the downside there, as you guys saw. But we did get out of some of those names. So just to talk about that, we're out of everything. We are flat now, and honestly, in the next couple minutes, probably not looking to take too much advantage here on anything. So we'll look on AFRM. I mean, we got to go back to Affirm quickly. Feels like this is the Affirm show. But you can see now that it's settled down. This is kind of what I meant about, I mean, Neil had a good point that the fact that the market's open, people could play options here. I think that's pretty valid. But you could see right now, it's really not doing anything here into the close. So Affirm has very much calmed down. I believe like the real money is now in this name or out of it and will make some more trades, but they've assessed all this damage here on Affirm, and I guess it's found its way at about 54, 55 as a bottom, and then it looks like 60s as a top, 65 maybe, and then this will be definitely on the sticky note for sure tomorrow, I would think, but who knows? That's a name that we'll look at. Let's look at Ford quickly. This is actually, my number one stock today is Roblox net-wise, but Ford, I couldn't be happier with the way we traded Ford, although right now you're seeing it all, like this, if there was more time in the market, man, this is a monster for me right now. I'd take this long easy, but here's Ford. We took that right off the open. Again, a name that's on the sticky note. It was our best trade yesterday, and here it is again today. Look at this 18 long. All the way out, all the way up here, 1840. We don't have the ultimate top, but here's my trades from yesterday. Look, it's the same levels, except for today we hold. We got most of them out at 1835, right? Which is right up here. We didn't hold the second time in, but we had numerous reload opportunities, and this is the difference over the day, right? Yesterday we could reload a bunch of times. Look at 18 here. We hit it early, right at 930. It was actually 933. We get that bid, and then it rips to the upside, and we take it. Never gave us a chance to reload except for now. And I would reload this, but not in 7 minutes. Anything can happen at the close. We'll look at Ford again tomorrow. So another name that guarantee you will be on the sticky note.
Yeah, it's like right now, I don't think there's much of anything to do. I got trailed out of Uber, by the way. It made a small move back above 37.50. That was enough. I mean, that last 50 pennies is all we're trying to eke out. So it ends up being a pretty decent one. Although I did bungle, like I said, like I got out of it when it reopened after the halt, and maybe I shouldn't have done that. I could have held on to it. But we went over that. You can definitely, if you didn't see it, it will be the trade of the day to be able to cover that. Affirm I will watch into the close just out of pure morbid curiosity to see what it does, if anything. But as Sean said, like the volatility so much. Like, look at the volume that came into the stock on those halts, right? Like the moves have been made, so you might not see a heck of a lot. It 100% is going to be tradable tomorrow because you're at levels. When you start going back down to like the post-IPO lows, like 45s, 50s levels like that, there's definitely going to be some actionable trades in here tomorrow for Affirm.
Okay, yeah, no, I think Affirm is going to be a great trade. Ford moving around as well right now. We can have a look. Oh, sorry, not Ford. I was going to look at Square, back up to 108 and change right here. So that's maybe something to look at for Square. But other than that, man, I'm not seeing too much. We could definitely check back on our imbalances. So let's do that quickly here for you, just to see if anything is popping or dropping or what for right here. So as I could see, not much happening. BMY stays a sell. So we could see that quickly, and then we'll go back. Yeah, not much happening. They're actually going upside right now on BMY. So what's up, Brendo?
Let's get you caught up, guys, on what is to come. Affirm is still on here, but I hope they don't report twice today. But there you go. Earnings for tonight.
Yeah, scratch them out there. Obviously, it's, we've already seen the action, and if they had the bungle, of course, of accidentally sending that tweet and then deciding, well, just, let's get it all out there. There's a few names that maybe we'll see. Cloudflare, possibly. I kind of feel like we know what we're going to be looking at tomorrow. Sean's already gone over a few names. You can see what's moving. I bet you Astra is going to be pretty crazy as a small cap that I'll be looking at in tomorrow's action. So all your payment processors, your usual suspects. Maybe actually for myself, trade Facebook. It's the first day that I didn't even trade it at all in the week. I almost forgot all about Facebook here today. But it's reacting on Friday. Now that the market move has happened, it's going to be reacting and settling down and figuring out what are the next steps, digesting what was said from the Fed.
I think that's Aurora Cannabis. I think they're just done their testing now, so that might be good. I think that was was that Aurora Cannabis on there? I think it was. Hold on, ACB.NQ should be on there, so they are going to come out.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it makes sense because it's marijuana week, I guess. As we had CGC, we'll wait for Tilray, but there's ACB, and again, this is a daily chart. It's been pretty bad, but you do get a nice little bump up over the last couple of days. So we'll wait to see that one. We are now flat for the day, and we're pretty happy. So as I said, they're done. Maybe this is the last one. So hit the like button, guys. 908. Let's get to 1,000 if you can. And we will
get to 1,000. Maybe they stop ringing the bell.
Yeah. We're gonna only have 3 minutes until the bell is hopefully no longer anyone's problem. But that's that. How far down did Microsoft go? Not that far at all. Only got. I mean, we were playing the long. Where's my minute chart? We were playing the long on Softy. You could see that's worked out. It was great trading on that one. I did want to check back on Disney quickly. 152. Okay, we were able to make money on this. this. But again, today it's pretty sloppy on Disney. Where was AMC's? Ooh. Wow, okay, AMC really turned around there. It got as high as 21, as we said. Look at this long right here, guys, 1780. We had the long on AMC. If that's not worth then I don't know what is. And then we had the long through 19, and then we didn't believe in it. Unfortunately, we should have trusted it. It goes all the way up to 21. We still made money there. We only made 25 cents because we got out when it broke back down below 19 there. So in and out, long AMC, and then we really left it alone all afternoon, which is kind of okay, but there's that long again off 18. So we'll have to check AMC tomorrow, as we only have 2 minutes left. Yeah, PayPal stuck, everything going. I like TCNFF. TrueLeave is my largest cannabis position right now. So that's what that is.
Yes, sir. And yeah, VIX actually turned at the end of the day, just a little bit. I think that maybe gives some cover to why the market's able to bounce. Still gonna end in negative territory. A firm, like I said, doing pretty much nothing. We got 90 seconds here. It's been a wild one. There's been so much. Like, it's not every day that you see like so much happening. Like as we have Danielle doing a fantastic job, of course, while a firm is going crazy, and at the exact same time you have the Astra launch when the firm is losing its mind. That stock actually calmed down quite a bit, down at $4. And you know, you get volume like this, they tend to settle down. There was a trade there. I'm almost guaranteed there's going to be some decent price action to be played off tomorrow, because it's still actually holding below. Like below $4 is pretty massive on Astra, so I'll be eyeballing that one. With 1 minute to go, I think it's going to be Tim on the bell. We'll double check just to make sure that's true. One name I don't think we mentioned that reported, and it feels like forever ago that we mentioned Disney, which was relatively strong. Disney, by the way, held 150 and then managed to hold 150 through all of this madness. 151 actually. So that 150 to 151 level, which didn't seem like it was likely to come into play, did and held nicely. So got to be watching that as well tomorrow.
Yeah, only 30 seconds to go. Just so you guys under a point for tomorrow, 227 held on Facebook. So it held in the morning on the dip, and it held again here in the chaos. So 227. And again, obviously what started the day was CPI, but what really got this day going was Fed, and that was right here. We were almost back to positive, and then Fed came through and said, no, thank you. With now only 8 seconds to go, we'll count this down. 6, 5,
4, 3, 2, and ring it.
Yes, sir. And the day is now officially over. And the NASDAQ, although tried to get back to green, we did talk a little bit about that. The Fed sent that one spiraling, Brendan. How did we wind up on the broader markets?
Pretty red, guys, as expected here. Let's get you caught up. 2% here for the NASDAQ. That's really all you need to know. 2.15, really tech-led. Dow, not much better. 1.8 to the downside. The S&P did try. They tried at the end of the day there to get it back above 4,900. Failed miserably, I have to say. Everything else pretty choppy. You can see Ethereum down there, 3.8 to the downside at this point.
All right. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, the market, you guys knew, you guys saw everything that happened here. We're just glad to be able to bring you the action, sort of show you what we're thinking and what we're able to do at the end of the day, because there were really good trading opportunities. I know when you're looking at your long-term account, when it's going down, it's like, oh, that kind of stinks. But when you're a short-term trader, volatility is good. Right? So there is that other aspect of it. Like, no one's happy to see stocks go down, but you got to take advantage of the market that's in front of you, because you can't do anything about it. It's going to go where it's going to go. As a trader, are you going to profit from it or not? And that's what we have to do every day.
Check chat for what, bro? Okay. All right. What up to Trader Prad? Thank you to Trader Prad and to Arun. I don't know if I don't think Arun's there, but there's Prad. There he's got his hat on. He's got the cap on. No cap, as Trader Prad always says. And a big thank you again to Tim, to Lucas. Maggie just showed up, so shout out to Maggie right now. And yeah, what a good day it's been. We can't do this without all the help that we get on a daily basis. So shout out to everybody there. We'll patiently wait for Affirm earnings to come out, but obviously
that's a good one.
Yeah, that's not going to be happening. So thank you to everybody. Thanks to Brendan. Obviously a big news day. Very, very important to get that all covered. We had the Uber halt. I mean, how long ago was that? We didn't even talk about Uber in the afternoon show.
Yeah,
you had the short, but.
Wow.
Go ahead, Brendan.
John, we started the show talking about Uber in the afternoon.
No, I just mean like at the end, like we kind of ignored that.
You had Disney
There
up
was
like
a few
double
things to
digits on earnings, trading crazy in the morning. You had the CPI number moving the markets. You had Uber halting. You had a firm halting. You had an Astra launch, and then you had the market rolling over because of Bullard.
Yeah.
It was busy.
Oh man, it was just a busy day. So I mean that's the point. But tomorrow's going to be even busier. So. Maybe not, but join us tomorrow as we'll have a lot of fun. It's Friday, it's almost Super Bowl, sleep well. I'm not sure what to expect tomorrow morning, but we'll be here at 8:30. So for Neil, Brendan, I'm Sean. It's Trader TV Live, 8:30 tomorrow. See ya.
Yeah.